Hey everybody, how's it going out there tonight? Having a little technical issue with the YouTube broadcast side of things, so we're just going for Facebook Live now, so that way we don't have to muck about, that kind of stuff, right? So anyway, my apologies for that. Not really, whatever. I'll have it on YouTube in a couple hours, folks. Welcome to the official Party Hog Road Story Show. Hey, number 11 here tonight. We are broadcasting to you live from the basement here in the Party Hog Home Studios. And it's good to see you guys here tonight. And let me just make sure I'm loading up comments here. I can read your guys' comments in real time here again now. Hi, everybody. Good to see you. I hope you had a great weekend. There we go. Okay, yeah, we are. We're working on Facebook Live. Have to upload it to YouTube later, folks. My apologies. New software, iOS update, all that kind of stuff. Things are still working their bugs out with my software, so it is what it is. We'll just have to ride this out with Facebook for now because I was getting some kind of error I've never seen. Anyway, hey, let's put my little thing up here. Party Hog Road Story Show. Welcome to the show, folks. Tonight's show is brought to you by Just Be, the Just Be store. You can get your custom handmade jewelry, necklaces, rings, and more. Created by Maggie. She's a silversmith artist creating handcrafted items here in her Edmonton studio. Get a hold. You can look at all of her stuff at the justbestore.com. And she's got a Facebook and Instagram link as well, too. She hand makes all this stuff. It's very nice. And she's a very lovely, lovely lady as well, too. So check out Maggie. Thanks for being the sponsor for tonight's show. There we go. Thank you, Maggie. All right. Look at that. Good to see you guys. Well, my new contacts are kind of working. Just here, let's get a drink in. Cheers to you. Nice to see you guys. Booze goes up, booze goes down. All right. I have just a little sip of that. YouTube is yesterday's jam anyway. You're right, Andrew. That's right. Well, tonight I got a very, very special guest here on the show. I'm doing him a very long time, but before we get there, I've got a couple of little bullshit things that I'm going to have to get over with here as well, too. As you know, that my series, I've been doing a weekly series, The Best Gig and My Worst Gig of All Time. And right now, I'm up to number 8 on the list. Top 10 worst gigs of all time. We're going to start off with the worst. T-Rex, we were playing in a band with Joe Rockhead, and we were opening. We did 3 nights. 2 nights at T-Rex and 1 at the Thunderdome, and we were opening for the great band Nazareth. And I tell you, folks, it's a great experience when the place is packed and the show's going well and all is happening for the first night. Then the second night, it's even better. It's great. Then the third night, man, it's all going awesome. But then your guitar player, singer, breaks a string on his guitar and did not bring a spare guitar with him. And we had 850 people out in front of us, jammed to the front of the stage going bananas. And third, fourth song of our little intro set, and he's got a broken string. So he turns to our drummer, who is my guest tonight, ERIK Young, and says, "Drum solo!" And makes ERIK kick into a drum solo. Now we're cocky shits, the opening act, and we're breaking into a drum solo. While Rolly is trying to change his string as fast as he can at the corner of the stage, while I'm leaning over him, screaming at him, You asshole. You didn't bring another guitar. Change that fucking string. Hurry up. Fucking go. Faster, you. and I'm not like, I'm really not helping the situation. I'm not. And so I'm screaming at him, but I look up and I start to see the road crew from Nazareth start to come out from the back dressing room. And they have this look of concern on their face because, bloody hell, what the hell do these guys think they're doing? They're the opening act, and he's breaking into a drum solo. So we're getting kind of the stink eye from the road manager there. And, well, short story long, Rolly changes the string. We get back to playing. The drum solo's over. And that's where we get into the best gigs of all time because, yeah, it's the same gig, same place, 3 nights with Nazareth. Now that the worst part is over, we're looking over to the side of the stage near the end of Erik's drum solo, and there's smiles on the faces of the road crew from Nazareth and a couple of the guys in the band as well too. And they wanted to see us in the dressing room after our set, and we were a little concerned that we were in deep shit, man, that we were in trouble. But instead, it was like, Christ, where'd you get the fucking drummer from? He's a machine. He's fucking great, you know. So. Oh, they were giving us a lot of love to the band and a lot of love to our spectacular drummer, ERIK Young, who really saved our ass that night by laying down a drum solo. And you'll know what I mean because we're going to show you a little drum solo action later on here tonight. So anyhow, we're going to take that out. That's the end of that little bit there. Now I'm going to pop over here to the chat part here. And I think I'm going to be bringing in my guest here tonight. I think the time has come. You know, well, I'm going to say his little bio here before we get started. And this is I love when the guys send me in the bios to work with, and I'm going to read this one to you here. ERIK Young was born in Scotland to musical parents. He moved to Canada at the age of 4 and started drumming at age 10. And he began playing in a band with his mom and dad. He played a variety of instruments at school, including drums in junior high school stage band. He went on the road at 17, stayed there for 10 years before deciding that was enough. Since then, he has been in a number of part-time bands. His musical influences run from, oh man, the one and the only Cozy Powell and Tommy Aldridge, power drummers, and as well as musical influences range as well to Ravi Shankar, Miles Davis as well, and ABBA. He's a big ABBA guy as well. So, he's currently the drummer for recording act Snake Eyes 7, as well as the drummer for the Edmonton band Chrome. He has numerous other interests in his life, generally things that challenge him mentally and physically. And he is a Renaissance man and a drummer and an extraordinary guy and a friend of mine. And it is my honor to welcome to the show here tonight my good friend ERIK Young. How you doing out there, Eric?
Cheers, brother. Good.
It's all working. Woo! Cheers to you, buddy. Here we go. I'm going to put the little ERIK Young pop up there, the drummer Renaissance man part. I love that, man. I love that. Cheers to you, buddy. Good to see you tonight.
Yeah, you too.
How are things?
Good, man. Good. Can't complain. Life's good.
Life is good. Got a new rehearsal spot and all that?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's just thrashed for the last 3 weeks in my garage to convert my old 1939 garage into a soundproof rehearsal space for our band. Yeah.
It's great, man. Honestly, you did a phenomenal job. I mean, I was in there a week ago and I'm like, okay.
Thank you. I couldn't, I really couldn't have done a lot of it without Rob Needham. So
yes.
He's good on the tools. You know, he's a hobby toolist and he's really good. You know, he's great. He's like Rob's like, you know, he's a phenomenal guitar player and he's great on the tools too. So yeah, cheers to him too. And everybody else that helped out a bit.
Cheers to him. And I think we'll get a round of applause for all that out there. There we go. Yeah. Send some applause out to those guys. So good call, man. Good to see you. All right. Well, you know what? Let's get started. Let's start the interrogation, shall we?
Oh.
Are you nervous? You shouldn't be.
You know what? It's funny, you know, I've been on stage since I was, 6, you know, and I you know, every time I go on stage, I always have a little anxiety, right?
Yeah.
And I think that you have to have that. And I think the day you lose that is the day you go, fuck this, you know, I'm out, maybe to some degree. So, yeah, even this, you know, I'm not playing, but yeah, it's disclosure and stories about who I am. So a little bit nervous. I just want it to go, okay, I don't want it to be too boring, right?
Oh, not too worried. I am not worried about that with you, my friend. So So you said you moved to Canada at the age of 4. Where did you move to? Where was your first spot here in Canada?
Okay, so 1963, I'm born, and my dad is a teacher in Scotland.
Here, I got a picture of your dad here.
Yeah,
there's
my dad. That's my dad in 1972. Yeah, back in Shetland. My dad was a teacher and supporting a family of 5 in Scotland on the equivalent of about $1,600, and he had the opportunity to go to Canada or South Africa, and I believe literally tossed a coin. So we ended up getting flown over, all expenses paid, to Fort McMurray, where they were hurting for teachers. So that's where that was my first stop in Canada. It was Fort McMurray in 1969.
That blows me away. Again, this is one of the fun things about doing this show is I learned something new about my friends. I had no idea. Fort McMurray was the first stop for you. That's crazy. But
yeah.
So what was your first real musical memory that you recall?
I mean, I know I was hearing all this stuff in vitro. You know, my mom was, at the time 21 when I was born. So I was hearing all that stuff, the Stones and the Beatles and all the Mersey Beat and all that stuff. But I just, I think back and I remember things when I was 1 year old. I have this incredible memory for being a kid, and but I was thinking about this because you asked me this today, and I think the first memory I can remember of music was actually Doctor Who. It was Doctor Who, like the old original black and white Doctor Who. It was my second birthday. I remember it was my second birthday, because I was scared shitless of they had these moon men, these robot guys. And I remember hiding behind the couch. And I do remember the music from the show at the time. Yeah. That's
crazy, man.
But beyond that, Mike, when I do, the next thing would be, when I was in Fort McMurray, I remember being a little kid and I would get up in the morning and go and put on the turntable, right? Like the record, whatever record was on there. And I happened to like the Beatles at the time. So I'd find a Beatles album I liked. I'd put it on and I would listen to that. And in my mind, I thought that there were 4 little guys inside the turntable. Yeah.
That's great.
That's true. True story. I was 4 years old at that time.
It's speeding them up. Were you speeding them up and slowing them down like I used to? Like...
Yeah, you put it on, just, move them around backwards.
Yeah.
Hail Satan, all that, right?
She loves you. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
So what got you, now you said that you played in a band with your mom and dad. What did they play?
Well, I got to backtrack a bit. So when we were in Fort McMurray, my mom and dad joined this band, with a couple of other guys, and they are playing legions and clubs or whatever. I'm not sure. But when I was 5, my dad asked me if I wanted to come to a practice. So I remember going to this guy's house, and I remember his name because I met him years later. Actually, he owned a club downtown. His name was Ron Carruthers. He was a black guy. He was their drummer. And as soon as they started playing, and he said he was playing, I remember a little 5-piece kit. He played traditional grip. And as soon as he started playing, I knew right then I will be a fucking drummer. At 5 years old, I knew this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, right? Yeah. So then, we moved up to a little town called Eaglesham, up near between kind of Peace River and Grand Prairie area, the land of rapeseed and honey, as they called it back then. Yeah. And my first musical instrument actually was guitar. My dad was a guitar player, a fantastic guitar player. So I wanted to learn guitar. So he gave me some lessons, and I learned on an acoustic at home. And then went to school and played all the recorders, right? The little recorder and then tenor recorder, and also violin and cornet. I could sight read music back then, and when I was a little bit older. But I always wanted to be a drummer. So my dad said, "Listen, I'll buy you a practice pad and some sticks." And he sat me down in front of the record player and put on Howlin' Wolf. If you know Howlin' Wolf, right? Put on Howlin' Wolf, old sessions with Charlie Watts and Bill Wyman. Anyway, I sat down and I learned this blues stuff, and he showed me a couple of beats, and I had to master this. And he says, if you do that for 6 months, then we'll get you a drum kit for Christmas. And but if you get a drum kit for Christmas, you have to play in our band. And if you play in our band, we'll pay you, but you have to pay us back half for the drum kit. So when I was 10, for Christmas, I got this Stewart drum kit, from Sears, right?
Wow.
A kick drum, one rack tom, hi-hat, and a cymbal and a snare. And so that, this was the greatest thing ever, a little Blue Sparkle drum kit. So played the shit out of that. Went out and did gigs with my mom and dad at age 10. Yeah. And my first gig, I made $50. I made $50, man. Right. I had to give half to my mom and dad towards the kit, but I had $25. It's 1973. God, right. So I don't know if you remember, but GI Joes were $2.99.
Yeah.
So this was just like, it was like Scrooge McDuck. Like, are you fucking kidding me? $25. Like, so yeah, that's kind of how it went for a couple of years.
That's a pretty big amount of money to a 10-year-old. That's for sure, boy.
Still is $25. Wow.
That's a great setup, though, for your parents to do that. Like, we'll get you playing drums. We'll buy you the kit. And then when you make money at the gigs, we'll give you I think more parents should kind of take that into consideration, get their kids going. That's a great way to involve your kid, not only in music, but the music business.
Yeah.
Right out of the gate. I mean, like, literally, it wasn't like you spent 200-300 hours in your garage kind of thing. It was like you were built to be playing gigs right away. That's awesome, man. That's so your first gig obviously then was with your mom and dad.
Yeah.
Do you recall where that happened? Was it a backyard or hall or?
Oh man, it was a Legion Hall in Spirit River.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, so I'm playing this Legion Hall in Spirit River, and I'm 10 years old, and I'm a skinny little guy, maybe 75 pounds, right? And I'm sure we had to do 3 sets, but I remember playing. This was my first gig, and I would get tired. Like my little arms would get tired, and I would slow down. So my mom was playing bass and singing. She'd look back at me and stomp her feet to, get me to play the speed of the song, get it up to speed. And then eventually, I think for the last set, I don't think I even played it. I think my dad played in a couple of tunes because he could play drums. And then some guy from the audience, some old dude came and played the last 5 or 6 tunes. Yeah, that was my first gig. I remember that.
Just that the whole stamina kind of thing. It's the surprise, eh? Like.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
You didn't have to like have a pee break or anything in the middle of a set or nothing like that, or.
No. Now, yeah. Now I do, but back then, no.
That's great. So, did you guys do any road trips at all, or were you just playing around Fort Mac with your mom and dad?
Well, this was in Eaglesham, right? We lived in Eaglesham. Yeah. So we played, Grand Prairie, Spirit River, Fairview.
Long
time ago, man. I know we played quite a few gigs for a couple of years, right? Yeah.
So from there, I got a picture. Here. I'm going to throw up. This is you, 14 years old, playing with the high school band. That's stage band.
Yeah, that's actually. I was 14, so it was junior high. This is Port Alberni. So my parents split up when I was 12, and I moved to Vancouver Island with my dad and my sisters. My mom went to university in Edmonton, so we moved to Port Alberni, and it was kind of a weird transition to go from a tiny little town to this, for me, a big school, like 500 kids in 3 grades, grade 8, 9, and 10, which is junior high in Vancouver Island. And but luckily, there was this great music program with this phenomenal music teacher called Steve Jones. God bless Steve Jones. Took me under his wing, and I was in his guitar class and his band class, and I was put me in his homeroom because I was I was really an outcast, right? I didn't fit in. You come from a little freaking bumhole town into a more modern city, and you're wearing the wrong clothes, and So anyway, with that, I got to be a part of something, a community, and I busted my ass at practicing. I practiced all the time, always. I used to sneak out of my house at night in the summer with a practice pad and my George Lawrence Stone's Modern Drummer Rudiments stick control, that's what it was called, and go out and practice in the dark, right? And actually got caught once and got a lot of trouble for that. But anyway, that's me at 14. That's playing at a park in Port Alberni. We had a stage band. There was 12 people in the band. So bass, guitar, horns, trombone, sax, maybe clarinet. I can't remember, girl singer, Steve Jones playing as well. Our teacher, Steve Jones, was 24 years old at the time. Just this phenomenal musician that played everything. Hippie guy, like John Lennon glasses, this is 1975, right? Say, so long hair. Just was really proactive in getting us out and doing gigs and stuff. And, yeah, it was cool.
That's cool. That's good. Yeah, music teachers, they don't realize the impact that they have on us kids as when we're younger.
Yeah.
And it's 50 years later, you want to get a hold of the guy kind of thing and go, look what I did. Look what you helped inspire. Like,
yeah.
My English high school teacher, it was the same thing. He got me I saw what he was doing. I'm like, geez, I could, and he gave me a little kick in the pants and got my career started. And honestly, I don't know what would have happened without a little push from him. But yeah, that's really cool. And not to be confused with the Steve Jones that played guitar in the Sex Pistols. Am I right?
No, not that Steve Jones.
Not that Steve Jones.
A little better player.
So you got about 17 years old, out of school and into a band. What was your first band?
Can I go back to junior high? Yeah. Before we so 13, 14, 15, I'm living in Vancouver Island. And my home life was less than pleasant, let's say. So I was actually a really troubled kid and a very lonely, sad kid. So sad I had a suicide attempt at one point. Wanted to get the fuck out of there. Yeah. So, but I couldn't, right? And there was nowhere really to go. But there's a story. So I joined this band. I was a really good drummer in town. So I ended up joining this like actual band called Deuce, right? Like the Kiss song Deuce. We had sparkly shirts and platforms. These guys were all in high school, and even our singer was out of high school, right? He had a Camaro and drove around like Matt McConaughey, right? Driving around the fucking high school, right? But this guy Paul, his name was Paul. Anyway, we were practicing up at his place. His dad had a big A-frame on the mountain. His dad was a doctor. So we're practicing. And I've never smoked dope or anything. Maybe I did once before, but nothing happened. You know how that is. Sometimes it takes 2 times. So our band manager goes, "Hey, let's smoke some weed." So we're practicing. And I smoke some weed, and about 10 minutes later, I can't even move, right? Like I'm fucking baked, like baked. So I go to the singer. I go, "Man, I can't." He goes, "I can't even move." He goes, "Well, here, come on in this room. It's my little tunes room, right? I got a stereo in here. Just kick back, close your eyes, relax." So I kick back my eyes, close and relax. He puts on Rainbow Rising, right?
Oh boy, yeah.
Deep Purple, like Richie Blackmore, Cozy Powell, et cetera, et cetera. So if you know that album, the first part of the album is "Terror Woman." There's about a 2-minute synthesizer intro. It's very psychedelic. So anyway, and I know now cannabis is a mild psychedelic, and depends who you are and how you use it, but. So anyway, I got my eyes closed and I'm listening to this album and I'm getting these incredible fractals and visuals and these landscapes, just like if you were to do mushrooms or acid. It's incredibly beautiful and I'm incredibly moved. And this is kind of a point in my life where I'm ready to go, right? I'm ready to call it, right? And I hear this fucking drummer, Cozy Powell, and this band and these songs, and it was like a light went off in my heart. Like all of a sudden I had a reason to live. I want to be like that guy. I want to play this. This is what I want to be. This is how I want to sound. This is like now I have a mentor, right? So I say to this day, Cozy Powell saved my life.
That's cool, brother. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
me thank you. That's me as a teenager, at a big point in my life where I may not have kept going, right? I might have been like, fuck it, I'm out. But managed to get through that. Thank you, Cozy Powell. Rest in peace.
Cheers to Cozy Powell.
Fucking rights, man. Cozy Powell.
Hell yeah.
So much so that, when I actually, I was on Facebook years ago and then I realized it was a bad thing, and especially for me. So I went off it, but then I had to come back on it a few years back to run the band Facebook site for Seven when I was in Seven. And I didn't want to be ERIK Young on there. So I was Cozy Powell-ish. That was my moniker on Facebook, which is, it was just, I wasn't trying to do anything other than protect my identity, but eventually it got out and eventually I got back into it. Since then I've quit Facebook again, which is one of the best things I've ever done. But yeah, cozy's a big deal for me. Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. That's great to get that inspiration. That, I mean, saving your life and just a new focus, a new drive.
Yeah.
Something to get out there and do it. So, right from there, did that band do much at all?
Well, you know what? We did some gigs in Port Alberni. One gig where the hall almost got fucking burned down, right? Because and it's just how that goes, right? Rent a hall, get no damage deposit, get no money, et cetera, et cetera. Crashed. But our light man and sound man set up right in front of the stage and figures he's going to have these flash pots. So he basically has a garbage can sit in front of the sound mixer, right in front of the stage, full of gunpowder, right? Drops a match and there, this big ridiculous flame of explosion starting the ceiling on fire. So anyway, that was that. And then at 15, I managed to get out of there and I moved to Edmonton and, played in the school band here in Edmonton at East Glen, which was, just school band, right? No big deal. And but I ended up being in a kind of a retro 60s punk band called Mark V and the Wheelies. My buddy Mark Vidlin, who lived in Highlands here, did a perfect John Lennon and Tommy James and the Shondells kind of guy. So I did that, had short hair, and wore a long jacket, and I did that. But meanwhile, I'm thinking, I'm a metal guy, right? I'm 70s metal guy. That's what I want to play. I want to be a rock and roll drummer. So did some of that. Yeah, met some good people and. Opened for Mo Berg and the Modern Minds, as a matter of fact. I remember that one.
Mo.
Yeah, Mo Berg, from St. Albert. And then I was working and doing some stuff, this and that. And I my first job I got at a gas station. I was making $2.85 an hour, and on 99th Street on the south side. And with that, I managed to go to the drum shop on White Ave. And Bob, that used to be the salesman there, I remember Bob at the drum shop. He's a great guy. Anyway, I bought this blue sparkle, Cozy Pal drum kit. Just like my first drum kit was a little blue. This is a Ludwig 24-inch kick drums, 2 rack toms, 2 floor toms. Your traditional, 70s metal rock kit, which kind of still stands to this day if you're a double bass drum player, right? Bought that kit and was playing with some guys, and I can't really remember how it happened, but a guy called Gavin Dane I was jamming with said, "Oh, there's this guy that's looking for a drummer for his road band. He's going out on the road," right? So it was Rick Shermack.
Oh boy, no way, really?
Yeah. So Rick Shermack. I go to this audition, and by this time I had learned how to twirl drumsticks because, when I was 16, I heard Pat Travers Band live. I was like, what the hell is this? Who is this guy? Like all double bass drum playing feet up, right? Feet first and hands second. So I was just blown away by this guy, Tommy Aldridge. So then I get to go see Pat Travers Band, and just with my eyes open and my mouth open, just stunned, watching Tommy Aldridge do this crazy shit and stand up and spit and fucking throwing drumsticks, and I got to be this guy, right? I got to be the big show off. I want all that attention, right? Because you're 16 or 17. So anyway, I auditioned for Rick Shermack, and we're playing some tune, and I'm spinning sticks and being a neat guy, right? So Rick hires me based on that I'm a showman, and Rick was all about the show. He figured this would be a great thing. So kudos to Rick, wherever you are, buddy. Rick, I love you, man. You got me out of my first band on the road, and Rick took me out and we went out on the road in a band called Mantis.
Mantis,
yeah.
I love all these old band names, man. They're just classic, aren't they?
We went out and played every shithole in Alberta and BC and Saskatchewan for like $1,600-$1,800 a week. Back in those days, if anybody doesn't know, we played 6 nights a week, and then you would move to the next town or the next club, and that was the start of a 10-year journey for me where I was basically doing that for 10 years, and anyway, Rick, eventually at some point, Rick left the band and we got Bernie Blackburn for a while and changed the name to Blackmail.
I have a picture of that here.
Oh, geez, look at that.
Look at that. That's what happened to the rest of your shirt, though? That's
girls. I was always wearing girls' clothes back there. I got those Adidas. Remember those Adidas track pants? I had those on.
Oh yeah, yeah.
this is kind of pre-spandex, right? So I got the Adidas track pants on, probably tucked into my socks, and I got that real fucking shirt on, and my blue-black hair, right? So right away, as soon as I went on the road, I started dyeing my hair blue-black. Yeah.
And I love the rainbow suspenders there too. That's pretty.
That's Liam. Liam Marshall. He lives in Kingston. He's actually sex therapist's psychologist for the jail out in Kingston, Ontario. Great guy, smoking bass player, that guy. Yeah. Good. And that's Barry Reish up there behind him. Barry and Bernie. Yeah, Barry Reish, who started Kaylee Reish later. Also a great guitar player and a hell of a guy, and has got himself into a pretty interesting career for the next 30 years, which we won't go into, but a great guy. I love Barry. And Bernie was our singer. Bernie was a great singer. And at that time, I also met, we needed a light man. So Barry brought this guy, who was making killer money, working, I don't know, some great job where he had a truck and was making $25 an hour in 1982 or whatever the hell it was. This guy quits to come and be on Pogie, right? Unemployment, and come and be our light man and it's Ken Kempinski. And this is when I was 18. I turned 18 when I was on the road. And ever since then, Ken's been pretty much my best friend. And it's funny now, I've lived moved all over the world, been everywhere. And I end up back here living, and we live about literally 4 minutes apart in Highlands here. So, yeah.
That's cool. Ken's a good guy. Yeah.
Ken's a great guy, man, and has done a lot for the bands and has had some much more success than most of us in the industry. He ended up being a really heavy light guy all over North America with some serious dudes. But after that, Bernie left. I really can't remember all the reasons why these things happened. But Bernie left, and we got Tim Cambridge.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Tim Cambridge, right? But I'm gonna go back to blackmail a bit because I got a story about blackmail. So the other guy in the picture, the Asian guy, is Rob Chin. And Rob Chin, was a guitar player and a singer. And he decided he was going to buy a Greyhound bus off of Tim Cambridge while we were up in Grand Prairie. It's winter, and our next gig, we're playing Grand Prairie for 2 weeks, and then we're scheduled to go up to Yellowknife for 3 or 4 weeks. And it's the middle of winter. I don't know if you know this story, but Tim Cambridge said, because that was their bus in Wish, because Tim Cambridge used to be in Wish, I believe. And he said, Rob, buy this bus, but you got to get the brakes done before you go. The brakes are like there's fuck all left of the brakes. You got to get them done. Air brakes, the whole deal, right? Big diesel big diesel pusher Greyhound bus, 1958 or something like that.
Oh boy.
So Rob doesn't get the brakes done. So we get all our shit piled into this Greyhound that has no deadhead or anything. So there's like a couple of rows of seats, and then the rest is open. It's full of gear. All our equipment is loose in the back and road cases and stuff. So 3 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning, after playing Saturday night, we're heading up to Yellowknife because, it's 24 hours to get there, right?
Yeah.
It's winter. And then we have to go over Dunvegan Bridge, which I know well because I lived up there when I was a kid, and people died on that fucking bridge all the time, right? Just before that bridge. Terrible, terrible road. So we're going up there, and I said, Rob, you got to slow down here, man. There's, he's got shitty tires. You got no brakes. This is a bad road. I'm telling you, it's an outside curve, descending curve down to the valley, down to the bridge. Like you really got to, and it's snowing and it's icy. Sure enough, nope. So next thing I know, we're going around the corner, heading down this hill, and the bus is going sideways on the highway. And somehow it starts, it didn't go to the other side. It went to the inside and started peeling up guardrail. And the last thing I remember is looking out my window. I'm on the driver's side, about 3 seats back, watching the guardrail go straight up, like getting peeled out. Like it was crazy. So the bus endoed and then rolled a couple times. Long story short, 3 of us got airlifted back to Edmonton. And Rob actually broke broke his neck, but he was okay. He no severing of anything. So yeah, we're pretty messed up. So it was tough. Yeah, it was a weird time. So
scary shit, man.
Yeah, really scary. Yeah, I still have a bad time on the highways in the winter because of that. I don't like to go on the highways at winter. Yeah, and then here's another part of this story, man. It just gets worse. So we went out and played without Rob for a while. I got like drumstick taped to my hand because my thumbs are broken and stuff. Anyway, we're out playing gigs, making money. Rob says, "Okay, I'm buying another bus. I'm going to buy a school bus." So he buys a school bus. We go up to Fort McMurray. We play a week or two in Fort McMurray, and we're coming back from Fort McMurray. And you know Fort McMurray really well.
Oh yeah.
When you're coming back, there's a huge hill, right? There's a giant freaking hill on the way back when you're coming back to Edmonton on 63. So we get that, we're at the bottom of this hill. The Greyhounds, the tractor trailers, all these professional drivers are all pulled over waiting for the sand truck. Rob, pull over. Nope. Well, I can make pins it. So we, and it's, and it's shifting down second, finally he's in first gear and we're just crawling. And sure enough, start sliding backwards. Right. So thank God there's a guardrail on the right-hand side because it's, couple through 300-foot hill down the side. So we slide into the guardrail and I am losing it. I'm freaking pissed. I'm ready to kill somebody, right? Especially someone who's driving. Yeah. You fucking kidding me. So I try to get out the door and I can't get out the door because it's a school bus, right? So we're pinned up against the guardrail. So I push him out of the way and I jump out. I climb out of the driver's window. There's that little slidey school bus window. I get out and I slide down about 40, 50 feet down the road. It's like a skating rink, right? Yeah. Shortly after that,
oh my God,
I left the band.
That was it. You kind of had enough by then. Like, jeez.
This is dangerous, man. I'm out. No, I went and joined another band.
That's unbelievable, buddy. Jeez. That's gotta be scary seeing the buses are scary enough, but yeah, the rollovers and stuff. I mean, you're not no seatbelt, the gears flying around in the back, and suddenly, you got a monitor come crushing on you. Like
exactly. I was on the other side, pinned, just covered in power amps, right? So
God, yeah. Jesus, that's some scary shit, man. God.
But hey, we lived.
You lived, and then on to from Blackmail.
Blackmail became Accept with Tim Cambridge, and right, and then we Accept with an X, not Accept the German band. Of course, we stole the name because nobody knew who Accept the German band was at the time, except for me and two chicks in Calgary, right? So we go to play Calgary. And these two chicks show up. These rocker chicks show up. We're looking to see what the fuck is this? Like, is this Accept? No, it's just. It's just us idiots, right? But that was a pretty good band, and Tim Cambridge was just a phenomenal frontman.
Oh yeah, he's good. Yeah,
we did okay with that, and then I can't remember why that came apart, but eventually I saw this band. I think I quit. I'm pretty good at quitting bands, right? I saw this band. My sister says, "You got to see this band called Ricochet." I was off for a week. Ricochet from Saskatoon. So I go to the Riv Tavern. And there's this band, and they got two guitar players, bass player, and a drummer, and they all sing, and they have like 4-part harmonies, and really the best singer of the band's the drummer, Bob Moody. So well, fuck this, man, and they're a great band, and they sound great, and they look great, big, the whole deal, right? So I go and decide I'm going to party with these guys, and I tell them, listen, you need me in your band, and you need that drummer to be your singer. That's it. If I said if I join your band, you're going to make $500 a week more, I guarantee it. And I was pretty cocky, but I knew they just needed a bit more of a show and someone to drive the band a bit, right?
Yeah.
And so I joined the band, and I think they were with Artist Management at the time, Dave and McDade. Oh no, what's
Dave
Beck and Kevin McDade.
Kevin McDade, that's right.
Yeah. I said, listen, I know Pat. We should go. Let me talk to Pat. So Pat got us in some great rooms and got us our money up big time right away, right? And a lot of good guidance from Pat, actually, considering back then when you had an agent and most of them were idiots, but she helped us a lot. And went out with those guys. And
Pat from Commodore, in case anybody's
Pat,
old agent there, yeah.
Yeah, agents back then, they take 15% to make a couple of phone calls. Fucking parrot.
Yeah, I know.
The only thing I hate
send promo out even, right? Like
yeah. But if I can put a drumming thing in there, during this time, just before I went on the road, I mean, I saw Aldridge and I saw Cozy Powell with Michael Schenker Group. And then I went to see Jethro Tull once when I was 16 or 17 because I love Jethro Tull. Barrymore Barlow was the drummer, great drummer, big Blue Vista Light Octopus kit, really great double, just a wicked drummer. I go to see this guy, and then there's this band opening from who I've never heard of, but this is back when before K97 was K97. It was CJCA with Bruce Kenyon at night. CJCA AM would turn into an FM station. You could pick it up from 6 p.m. till midnight or whatever. And Bruce Kenyon would put on this stuff. And man, Bruce Kenyon, cheers to him too. I learned a lot of stuff listening to Bruce Kenyon. So there's this band UK that I never heard of. And I'm a prog guy. I love Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I love King Crimson, stuff like that. I really like that. Yes, I was really into that stuff when I was a kid. But I never heard of this band UK. So he plays a song by UK called Danger Money. And I'm like, what the hell is this, man? Crazy, crazy stuff. So we see this band, and it's John Wetton on bass and vocals, who played in Uriah Heep and then later on in Asia, and a lot of guys, right? And then Eddie Jobson on keyboards and violin, and Terry Bozzio on drums.
Oh boy, yeah.
Okay, so I know now. I hear that. I look this, I figure out this is Terry Bozzio from Frank Zappa. And if you played for Frank Zappa, you're one of the heaviest guys in the world. I know that, right?
Yeah.
So this band opens, they open with this tune, and I watched this drummer, play stuff that it was just unbelievable. And he was a hell of a showman. Bozzio, he just always had he's jumping and spitting, and he was a real attention getter, right? But he could burn too, right? So he's a prog drummer, but he wailed, right? He hit hard, and he wasn't airy-fairy kind of drummer, which I didn't really dig that, even though I respect it, but I didn't dig it for what I wanted to do. So I see this guy. And then, so that was a big influence on me. And then I see, I read this magazine when I was in, what was I in? Ricochet, it must have been Guardian. And I see this modern drummer interview with Simon Phillips, this drummer Simon Phillips, right? We all, if you know the music, Simon Phillips is a heavy guy, right? At 16, he played on Sin After Sin with Judas Priest. And it's probably the best drumming that's ever been on any Judas Priest album ever. Is Simon Phillips, age 16, Sin After Sin. Album sounds like shit, but his playing is killer. And then I read that he actually plays, he's right-handed, but he actually plays his hi-hat and his ride cymbal with his left hand. And I'm already into symmetry. I got a drum kit that looks like, a castle, like there's cymbals this side, 2 bass drums. It looks very symmetrical. I've always kind of been into symmetry. So I'm thinking, well, this is I got to do this, right? I don't want to play crosshand. Like guys play like this, right? They're right-handed, they play their hi-hat, then they play their right hand. No, I want balance, right? So immediately I start playing with my left hand, which just kills my timing. Like my timing sucked for about a year because it changes your groove and everything. But within 6 months, I really couldn't, I could really play just about most 90% of my stuff left-handed, right? To the point where it evolved to where I actually put a ride cymbal on my left side. And I didn't even have a ride cymbal on my right-hand side for a long time, but I had to eventually because my left hand actually started losing power. I had all this dexterity. It's like brushing your teeth with your left hand, right? Right? Or driving backwards or anything you can think of. You would do normally with your right hand, you're doing with your left hand. So that was a big thing for me when I heard about Simon Phillips and started seeing some of his stuff. So I worked on that all through that. And then Ricochet changed our name to Guardian, right? And
this is one of the picture Guardian I could find is the old Guardian shirt. Man, I saw these everywhere.
Like that's me with that shirt because my buddy Dave Stevenson from Vancouver kept that shirt from like 1982 or whatever. That was our shirt. Look at this, a picture of ourselves, right? That's what you want. You walk around like the ultimate narcissism. Here's a picture of me on my shirt wearing, that's me. And but I still have that shirt actually. Maggie wears it sometimes. But
partying with Guardian. I remember seeing those shirts. I remember I caught you guys. I think it was Uncle Sam's, the 17th Avenue Inn in Calgary.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Pretty sure I saw you guys there, and that was the first time I ever saw you play, and I was like, man, look at this guy. I mean, yeah. You were doing the show to go along with. I mean, your drumming was spectacular, but you had like show going along with it as well too. And I just, I remember looking at our drummer going, "Hey, see what he's doing up there?
Here's the thing.
He's giving a damn, Like
I did give a damn, and I always did, and I always do. But here's the thing about that. So I was Johnny Showman, and spitting and wearing masks and screaming and yelling and jumping off the stage and, all that kind of thing. But yeah, it really affected what I should be doing, which the number one job of a drummer is keep time. That's it. You keep time. Everything else is icing, right? So if you can keep time and you got chops, that's great. If you can keep time, you got chops, and you can give people something to watch, then that's even better, right? Because 90% of the people in the audience don't know if I keep good time or not, or if I'm that good, but they can tell if I'm throwing drumsticks in the air, and I'm spitting on the keyboard player. That's a story. You might come back to that. All that stuff, you add all that, and then you have a band that is entertaining, right? Because it's not just about how good you are. But it was really important to me to be good. But I wasn't at the time. Wasn't analyzing my playing. Wasn't taping myself enough. Wasn't practicing with a metronome. I did practice every day on the road in a practice pad before we go on, but it was just maybe not enough, right? I needed a kick in the ass. So the band Guardian, we went into Thunder Road, Danny Lowe's Thunder Roads in Calgary, the big studio, and did these 4 tunes, right? Under the Streetlight, Caught on the Edge. I can't remember the other 2.
That's right. Jesus, right? I forgot about those.
Yeah, actually, there's a video that just came out on YouTube right now of Guardian, because Guardian won the K97 Homegrown contest, and they were on the album. After I quit the band, they won. And Kevin is playing drums, but that's our original tracks. They're lip syncing to their tracks. Anyway, we go to Thunder Roads, and it's my first day in there, and I'm stinking the place out. And Mark, the guy that's in there that's producing it, says, you pretty much suck. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, right? What do you mean I suck? In so many words, right? He says, well, listen, here, I will isolate the drums, and here's the click. I'm playing with a click. I'd never played with a click before. I'm flammity, flam, blam, flam. Like I can sort of stay in there, but I'm not hitting the snare. It's not locked in. I'm not, if anything, you want to be a little bit behind the beat, so it's heavy, like Bonham, that kind of big British Bonham, right? That big heavy feel. So I was pretty freaked out. So the first day it didn't go that well. And they were saying, well, we might have to get a guy in, right? I'm like, oh my God, this can't be. This can't stand, man. This will not abide, right? Yeah. So the next morning we're in, and I'm just shitting the bed. And I tell our light man, Dave Zeter, I go, it's like 11 a.m. because we're playing till 1, trying to get to bed, get up at 9. Jesus, get up at 9 when you're on the road? You crazy? So I'm a mess, right? So I could, Dave, because back then we partied pretty fucking hard. So I wouldn't say we weren't alcoholics, but it was just part of youthful exuberance and a lot of drinking. So Dave, go get me a half sack. So Dave brought back 6 beers. I sat down, I guzzled the beer. I sat down, bang, done, take 1. Next song, bang, maybe 2 takes.
That's all it took, eh?
To relax a bit so I could sit on the beat and groove. And so that taught me a lot right there. A lot of guys are, they're critical of very simple drummers. You hear, if you're even stupid enough to look at YouTube comments, every fucking idiot in the basement thinks he knows everything about everything, no matter what the instrument is or whatever the topic is. Every keyboard warrior, it's like, listen to me. If you have not sat in front of a real producer in a real studio, you don't know shit. Fuck all. You might be able to play 64th notes at 300 BPM, but you suck, and there's more to it than that, like just being good and getting sorted out by a record producer. There's being a real guy, right? Because 80% of being in a band is relationship. You got to be a real guy. 20% is, if you're a great player, that's great. But if you're Yngwie Malmsteen and you're a dick, which he is, then you go through players like fucking tampons, right?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Well, that's just it. You gotta have some class. You gotta have a little. You gotta be able to work with the other guys you're in the band with. That's a big part. You don't want to. Yeah, you can't.
It's a relationship. It's a relationship, especially on the road when you got 4 or 5, 6 people, and when you're 21, 22. Let's face it. I don't know about you, but when I was 21, I was full retard, right? And I don't even care about that. I was a full, you're 21, full of testosterone, piss and vinegar, cock of the walk, just trying to spread DNA and tell everyone how great you are. You're an idiot. You don't know anything about anything except what you want, right? We're idiots. Like
that's right.
right? Nobody should be able to vote till they're like 30, right?
That's right. Yeah, we hadn't really matured quite yet. You're still just kids. It's like you don't learn the basic life skills about being a decent fucking person until you're much later in life. Yeah, at 21, you're like, where's the beer? Where's the titties? Like, come on.
Exactly. Yeah.
God. So I love this picture of you here. What year would that be?
Oh my God, that is. I think that's 1984. So that's after I left. Let me see if I have any Guardian stories before I wrote a couple things down here. What the hell did I have here for Guardian?
Because that looks like the Guardian years.
Yeah, that you know what that is what I look like in Guardian, but I actually that's in Rude Awakening at a bar in Vancouver. What the hell was it? It was run by the Mafia, and we quadrupled the sales record there this week. We were this heavy band. I joined Rude Awakening. I moved to Vancouver because I wanted to be in more of a heavier band, right? And these guys, Mark Kenny, God fucking bless Mark Kenny, one of the nicest, greatest guys, and what a frickin' musician. Oh my God. Anyway, Mark Kenny, yeah, that's Rude Awakening as well. Mark Kenny, Pooch Hughlin, and Richard Klein, just from Kamloops, a bunch of great guys. And I was in that band for about a year. But that other shot was taken in, God, what was that club called? Hendrix played there, Joplin. Anyway, we played there, quadrupled the sales record, and the Cosa Nostra there wrote off our bar tab, which was about $1,000, which is great. And we did a lot of cocaine and partying that week. That was a lot of fun. But you know what? It was the Sam Feldman days, so it was like, well, you better learn some. You guys got to learn some CCR and some and Brian Adams. And like look at us, like we're doing Wasp and Motley Crue and and whatever Rain, but like a heavier stuff. And we quadrupled the bar. Like, what do you want? We're not going to do CCR and that kind of thing. So. It was crazy. It was, how it was back then. Like Sam Feldman killed fucking rock and roll, man. As far as I'm concerned, you can
here's the list. Play these songs, and we'll book you. And every bar was just had the same bands playing the same set list, and it.
Yeah, exactly. I refused, and it was kind of looking like it was going that way. And like, well, I'm done up. I look like a chick. I got makeup on. I got hair. I got a freaking armadillo in my freaking pants. Right?
Armadillos in her trousers.
I'm doing the whole trip, and I'm going to play Bad Moon Rising. No, it's not going to happen. So, I suggested to the guys that we do a Kiss tribute because Mark Kenny did a great Gene Simmons, and I think later on they actually took it. I left the band, but they actually ended up doing that. Oh yeah, this is me, Jesus, and Steve Mathers Mayhem was our light man, sound man in Rude Awakening, and that's Ken Kopensky there. And we're I remember that we were in a apartment of 3 girls we knew that lived downtown, and we were just obliterated. I remember Steve Mayhem and I used to have this thing where, from 10 feet away, like he would, take a mouthful of beer and then spritz it across the room into my mouth. And we would do this back and forth. Idiots. Just look at that. What a bunch of full retard. Right? I'm 24 there, stupid, and I had a Warrior shirt on there too. If you look at that.
Oh yeah, I saw. But here you guys. So there's Mark and Mayhem and Wendell there as well too.
Yeah. So this is a couple of years ago. Me and Maggie went to Vancouver, and I managed to track down Mark and these 3 guys and. Man, oh man, it was so good to see them. I tell you what, I would run to Vancouver for those guys if they needed me to. I love those guys. When I quit that band, I remember we were playing Tin Lizzy's in Calgary, whatever that hotel was. And the last night I said, I'm out, guys. I got to leave. And those guys never drank. I drank and they burned, right? And I was never a dope smoker. It wasn't my thing. I had no problem with guys that burned. In fact, I would much rather play with guys that burned because they were creative, the whole deal. They were everything you needed to be as a musician and maybe more. Drunks I refused to play with, even though I was a bit of a drunk, but kind of a controlled, like I said in that picture, successful alcoholic on my bass drums there. I drank a lot, but I had it under control. It was more of a party thing, but yeah, see, it says successful alcoholic.
Now
Well, those are my
you guys had like covered. I remember you guys covered the stage in netting.
fishnet. Yeah, that was
Fishnet,
Steve
yeah.
Maynard. Bras and underwear and stuff. I don't even want to get into that, but that was Steve. Steve was a great light man and had great ideas. Except he fogged me out so bad I'd choke and die half the time. I'd have, yeah. Go ahead.
Wendell was in the very first band I ever saw play. My grade 7 elementary school in Kamloops. Him and Brian Miracle. And,
oh yeah.
And I'm willing to bet Mayhem was probably doing lights at that thing. They played at R.L. Clemenson Elementary School in Kamloops at my grade 7 dance. And I remember they started off, and it's the first fucking band I'd ever seen in my life. They were called Tarkus. I remember that, Tarkus.
Yeah. And that's like a Palmer album, Tarkus.
Yeah, and they had flash pots. They opened with Detroit Rock City. The flash pots went off, and all the little iron filings went and landed on the gymnasium floor. And instead of just letting them burn and fizzle out like they should have, one of the dumbass principals went over there and started stomping them all out, and he ended up making all these little divots and like thousands of dollars of damage to the gymnasium floor from these guys. It's just nuts, like
idiots. We're idiots.
But what a show! I was just a grade 7. I'm like, I'm seeing this happen live in front of me for the first time. Yeah, Wendell. We all went to the same high school together and stuff. They were a couple of years up on me. They probably don't like me saying that, but Mark too. Like all good guys. They all lived up in Barnardville, a suburb of Kamloops. And me, Mark, Wendell, God, even Richard Klein. I replaced Rick Klein in the first band I ever joined.
Is that right?
Yeah, he was in the band, and he was smart enough to say this band's going nowhere, so he quit. And I was like, I'll do it, So I got the job. So
there's some serious talent come out of there, right? Darby and all the guys that play for her, Ricky Renoff, those guys, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or he's from Vancouver. Anyway, a bunch of serious good players come out of that area of BC. Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's because there was nothing to do in Barnardville. That's why. Literally nothing to do, man. So I got another picture I want to throw at you here. This is another one here.
Oh, that's once I joined Sentinel. I'm just going to go back to the Rude Awakening thing. So I was saying, these guys, Mayhem and Mark Kenny, did not drink. So the last night I was there, we played our Saturday night, our last gig, and all three of us got hammered. And those guys didn't know how to drink, right? And so we all fucking cried like babies, man. Like we cried like babies because you know what? I had to leave the band. It was just I had a decision to make. But I love those guys, and I still love those guys, man. It broke my heart, and good memories. But so anyway, after that, I stopped playing for just a short while, and then Jamie Wall, the bass player from Guardian, because we had Derek on guitar and Jamie Wall on bass, phenomenal players. Jamie Wall, Guardian was between gig. I don't know if they'd stopped or what it was, but Jamie calls me up and goes, "There's this top 40 band from Vancouver needs a rhythm section." I'm like, I don't want to play top 40. I just quit a band because of that, right? And he goes, "Come on, let's go out and play and have some fun and get loaded." So I don't remember the name of the band. Someone sent me a cassette. I learned their set list. I remember that I think Brian, the guitar player from Metalworks, was their guitar player. Great guy, great guitar player. They had a keyboard player, so I had to split the back of the stage with this keyboard player. So there was me on one side and the keyboards on the other side. And this guy's name was Doug. He was a big ginger guy, looked like a football player, and I didn't like the guy at all. Like he was a great guy, and again, full retard, right? Just stupid. Good keyboard player. But I was just in this wimpy band. We're just doing this wimpy top 40 Sam Feldman setlist shit. I hated it. And so we drank a lot and partied. And Doug, the keyboard player, I used to spit. I would spit on him all night. Like we'd be playing this, like constantly. He'd spit on me. It was just, it was funny. And then I remember the first time we played Red Deer with those guys or something. So me and Jamie each going by like a 2-4 of Miller because I think there was a beer strike on. So we go up and we're going to party, and the other guys from the band come in and they go, "Oh yeah, right, beer's right on." I'm like, "Well, this is our beer. Like, where's your? These are my beers. I need all these. You can't have these fucking beers. Go downstairs, get the off sales." Anyway, so we didn't last long in that band. That's the only band we ever got fired in. We got fired from the park in Red Deer for not being heavy enough. Fired us. So embarrassing.
Oh my God, not being heavy enough. Oh,
yeah, we're too wimpy. I'm like, what am I doing? So this is kind of the end of my road career almost. But then I was hanging around in town. I went to the Rex one night because Sentinel was playing, right? And I'd heard about this guy, Mike Sillis, this bass player, Mike Sillis, that played in Canada. That this guy was a serious guy. And, Sentinel was a happening thing at the time. I didn't know a lot about him. I knew they had a Roadrunner Records record deal waiting, that kind of thing. So, you're looking for opportunities. So I go to see this band at the Rex, and they got Dave playing drums. Dave from Pretty Rough is playing drums. And, he's just doing it because it's something to do. It's not his thing. He doesn't want to be there. And so Mike Sillis comes up to me and starts talking to me. Says, why don't you come up and play a couple of tunes? I said, okay. So we'll go up and I do a Neon Nights and something else. And this drum set is the most fucked up drum set I've ever played. Like I could barely play this drum kit. And Dave was actually a lefty and played a right-handed kit. So that was okay for me to play this hi-hat that was low. It was okay. But he had the heads tuned like from the 70s. So they're just finger tight. They're just like, pop, 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 like nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing there, right? And I play pretty tight heads. I like drums that move, right? I like them to resonate. And the pedal was shit. Anyway, I go up and do these songs, and I figure I shit that bed. And Mike Sillis goes, well, you should, I think you're in. Like, I'm going to tell these guys you're in. So I joined Sentinel, which is there's a lot of stories there, too. I won't get into too much of that, except to say that probably one of the most important things that happened in my life, among the 10 most important things that happened in my life, musically, was that I met Mike Sillis. Because Mike Sillis taught me that this is what he said to me. We were practicing once, and I don't know what I was doing, dicking around, just having a drink, because you can do this, right? You can play with one hand and have a drink, smoke. I smoked back then, smoked cigarettes till I was 29. I smoked for 15 years, right? Smoking cigarette. He goes, and he stops and goes, what the fuck are you doing? I go, what do you mean? He goes, quit fucking around. I go, it's just practice. He goes, listen to me, man. Every fucking note matters. It always matters. Every note matters. All the time, no matter what you're doing. And that resonated deeply within me. And this guy had come from, he's playing like me. He played when he was younger, but he went out and played with a lot of very professional guys doing, like Elvis and all, show band stuff, where he got taught how to play properly, right? Like by guys that were 20 years older than him going, my dad always said that to me when I was a kid. He said, ERIK, if you want to be better, you want to be a better drummer, you got to play with guys that are better than you. As soon as you're better than them, quit. That's what my dad said to me, and it made sense. So all that resonated and became a foundation of not only who I am musically, but who I am as a man, right? So Mike Sillis, thanks, brother.
Mike Sillis too. I agree with you. A monster bass player.
Monster.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, just in so many ways that aren't even, that are hard to describe, right? It's intangible. But so I learned a lot playing with Mike. And so Sentinel went on for a while. And I don't know if I have any Sentinel stories, none that I can tell. There's a lot of, right? There's a lot of stories a guy could tell from being 18 to 28, playing 6 nights a week in clubs in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
You know where I'm going with this, and maybe some of your people that you've had on before would go into some of that extremely explicitly, and I refuse to do that because I'm 57 years old. That was then, this is now, right? We grow up. It's what you do. Like any guy that's 22 years old, that's half a rock star, and half decent looking, and you're a spotlight kid. What happens. You get all the attention. You get all the wonderful things that go with that: free drugs, free sex, all that stuff, but. And it's a lot of fun, and I regret nothing, man. I was always a pretty good guy about everything, but I don't think there's any need to get into those details. I think the more important stuff is who you end up being as a human being out of all of this, right? So with Mike, what came out of playing with Mike and Sentinel was that he wouldn't have said these words at the time, but to me, it's sacred. Music is sacred. It's a sacred thing. Like even if I'm in a band, whoever making originals, that's creation. But if I'm in a band playing other people's songs, it's still creation. Like I'm in the moment trying to honor this music and try to honor the people that created this music and channel something wonderful through me to so the audience can feel something and feed it back to me, and I get this wonderful energy, right? This beautiful in the moment Zen kind of experience. It's creation, and there's nothing more sacred than creation, right? So I learned a lot from Mike that way. And so Sentinel, we did some stuff, and Sandy Lawson, Mike Polly, Chuck,
Oli?
yeah, Oli Moen, the Troll, and Chuck, our soundman Chuck, and Dave Nay, a few other guys out there. But I ended up leaving that, and then me and Mike quit for whatever reasons. And then we were just kind of tool around. And Mike and I had this idea. We were working jobs. Mike was a cab driver. I think I ended up being a cab driver out there, or working at a landscaping company or something. But we had this idea. We're going to do a prog thing. We're going to play whatever we want. Like, we don't have to be on the road. We're not playing the Sam Feldman list. We're not playing the frickin' the artist management list. We're going to do what we want. And if we don't play anywhere, we don't even care, because it's important to us that we play what we want to play. So it was just me and him, and we would play. We were jamming along with monitors with King Crimson and frickin' Genesis and Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and trying to find a keyboard player. Nope, not a frickin' keyboard player to be found, right? So then we made Mike found a phone number at Long McQuaid, and it was Owen Smith and Kim McCarg, right?
Yeah.
And Kim McCarg. So Kim had moved from Saskatoon here, and before that he'd been in a band he called Winterkill. So we came, we jammed, we did some stuff, and he said, "Can we call the band Winterkill?" Yeah, it's a great name. Let's call it Winterkill. So Winterkill was a local part-time band that went out, and nobody wanted to book us. Artists wouldn't book us, and all the agents were like, "No, you're too heavy. We're doing Black Sabbath. We're doing, Children of the Grave, and frickin' Fairies Wear Boots, and War Pigs, and a whole set of Judas Priest." And they're like, "Are you fucking crazy?" So we went to the Rex, and I knew Mark, the guy that was the manager there, and I said, "Listen, our band wants to come up and do 3 songs." So we went up and did 3 songs on someone's gear, and he booked us right away. So, "When you guys be ready?" He said, "Anytime." So we went back and fucking packed the place, right? And then we always did really well. So that was that thing. I was in and out of Winterkill a few times. I left Winterkill. Actually, in Winterkill, there's a thing. I met Brian Paulson, right?
Yeah, oh boy. Yeah.
Yeah. And if anyone doesn't know who Brian Paulson is, you should probably look him up. Yeah. He not only a super great guy, but probably among the top 100 freaking shredding guitar players. Like, he's a serious, phenomenal guitar player. And
his musical knowledge is on some other level, that's for sure. And really even just his IQ too, man. He has words I've never seen before or heard before. It's just, he's a very intelligent gentleman, and a really nice guy too. He's love Brian.
So we got Brian in Winterkill at some point. So we got to play with Brian, and it's an honor. Like, he says nice things about me, but he's on a way different level than me and some other guy, a lot of other guys that I play with. So Brian just kept at it, right? He's one of those guys that said, "I'm going to do this 8 hours a day for the rest of my life, whether I'm working or not," right? Like Randy Black, same thing. Randy Black, drummer, phenomenal drummer. We kind of come out at the same time. Great drummer. He stayed at it and just said, "This is all I'm ever going to do, and I'm going to practice 8 hours a day, and I'm going to stay at leading edge." And he's been in Germany forever, and he tours all over the world and does really well. And he's a great guy, also a great guy and a great drummer, because it's not just a hobby for him, right? Unlike so anyway, I got to meet Brian Paulson, play with him, and then in and out of Winterkill. I left Winterkill the first time to join White Wolf, because at the time I was, I'm always, still looking for a serious opportunity. It's like, White Wolf had a recording contract. They'd done their second album, and there was some opportunity to go out and tour with these guys. So, and I always liked the band. Of course, when we were kids, we liked the band, right? They were playing all the heavy stuff we wanted to play, and of course, I'm a Rainbow guy. I love Rainbow, right? And and Purple and Black Sabbath. That's where my roots, right? So I get to join this band and learn some things in that band too. Like learn a lot of stuff. Eventually, that came apart. The record deal went away. Things changed in the music industry, and so that was it for me for being on the road. And since then, it's just been part-time stuff and played with a lot of cool people since then. Tony from Dirty Deeds, I was in a band called Crazy Sadie with Tony, the singer. Tony C, the guitar player. Remember Tony C, the guitar player?
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
He died. I don't know, 10, 15. Anyway. And then they actually, after I left, they got Tony on drums. So there was Tony was the band. Bill Fear on bass. Bill, another phenomenal player, right? Great sound, great guy, great player. And then I played with Kim Rill. Somehow I met Kim Rill and played with her in some bands, Prisoner, 100-watt bulb, or 20-watt bulb, I used to call it. I can't even remember what the band was called. With Troy Ranger and Roy Shermack, Rick's brother. Got to play with him for a while. Yeah, all great people. And still a lot of these people are still very dear friends to me, and that's I think what's really the most important thing. And then I'm trying to think if I missed anything there. I played with Jeff from Hell's Bells in a band called Riot Act. They actually fired me. I got fired from that band. It's the only band I ever got fired from. Rick Human and Jeff from Hell's Bells. And Charlie Brown on guitar. Remember him?
Oh, Chris Schroeder.
Yeah, Chris Schroeder. I think he was in that band. Yeah. Because I played in a band with Brian Vincent called Lester Polyester before that with Chris Schroeder. I think with Chris Schroeder. Yeah. Yeah, Chris
Polyester. God, there's a name I haven't heard for a while, eh?
Yeah. So anyway, I played in that band, and I ended up playing in this band, and it was a really weird thing, and I got very angry at that at some points, and I would. Anyway, they ended up firing me. That I was in like three or four bands at a time, and I said, guys, I got this gig. I'm booked. I can't play, but my friend Dave Stevenson could fill in. He's a great drummer. So Dave filled in. So about a couple weeks later, I called, hey, Dave, how'd that gig go? He goes, yeah, pretty good. Guys talk to you? Like, no. Goes, I guess they want me to be their drummer. I'm like, what? It's the way it was back then.
Oh, shit, man.
We were younger and no hard feelings at all towards anyone. Shit happened, right? So then I got into other things, right? I've always had other interests, and I went and got a black belt when I was 30, which changed me a lot. Another one of the more important things I did was get into martial arts, sorted me out. And then I got into scuba diving, and I ran a dive shop for a while. Went and lived on a boat for a year. I was a first mate, scuba instructor. And then went to South America, learned Spanish, lived down there for a while, came back and decided I was going to go to college and be a social worker. So I went to college for 2 years when I was 35. So 37, I got out with my diploma, and I was married at the time to someone who was an international teacher. So we ended up moving I spent some time with her in the Persian Gulf, in Bahrain, near Saudi, and Egypt, and did a lot of traveling with her. Bless her, Juanita, thank you. That was great. Did a lot of great traveling. And then we moved to Indonesia, and she was a teacher there, and I got a job as a teacher. So I was teaching English and swimming and Taekwondo, right? To all these Asians, teaching Taekwondo to Korean kids, there's irony, right? But I learned Indonesian, and finally came back to Canada. And I didn't. Yeah, there's the one I got the Lawrence of Arabia hat. That is in the engineers pyramid in Cairo, near the Great Pyramid. So the pharaoh, got his giant freaking pyramid, but the engineer got a pyramid too, of course, much smaller. And on the right there is in Bahrain. It's an island in the Persian Gulf, the Arabian Gulf, whatever it's called now. And we ran into, I think the sheikh of the country. This was his private herd of camels. They were getting herded around by the herders. And, I paid a dinar or something, 1 dinar, which is about $4 to ride around this camel. And I free dive, I'm a breath hold diver, scuba dive, I'll dive with sharks, whales. I've ridden them, you name it, but land animals scare the shit out of me. So I was scared to ride on that camel. So I only went down in the back part, the low part, scared the shit.
I was going to say, there's no hump back there. It looked a little like you're in the back seat of the camel there, kind of thing.
I know. I get a lot of comments about that. What are you doing back there? Yeah. Man, I'm vibrating in terror what I'm doing. Like I know what I'm doing, but you're supposed to go up on the top there. But I was too scared. They're tall, man. That thing, you sit up on top of that thing, you're 8-9 feet in the air. It's crazy. And those camels are assholes too. They're serious assholes. So, but your next picture there was
There we go. We got
So there's the one of me That's when I'm working in the boat on a boat called the Nautilus 7, drinking extra old stock when I used to drink beer. And then the middle is me at a Canadian Association of Freedivers, a freediving competition with a guy called Brent. And this is breath hold diving. I got into freediving. So that competition, I think that's the competition. I did pretty well nationally and internationally freediving. I did a really long breath hold and tied the Canadian championship and set a British record. And a few other things at some of those competitions. So I really enjoyed that. I really like free diving. I still free dive to this day. That's breath hold diving, except I usually do it now with a spear gun, and I go and I'll shoot my dinner. That's all I'll shoot. So the one on the right there, that's up north end of Vancouver Island, in Port Hardy, off of Port Hardy, and that is a kelp greenling, and that is damn good eating, man. I tell you, and that was probably got that guy at 70 or 80 feet. And
Jesus, so you just literally suit up, hold your breath, go down, find the fish, and boom.
It's hunting, right? It's not like, it's different kind of fit. So you have to learn how they move, where they're going to be, how to, sometimes you got to dive and lay on the bottom for a minute, right? So you got to have a good breath hold. And I'll hunt at 30 meters, no problem. And for that, with all that gear on, right? I've done deeper dives, but that's what I do now. I don't compete anymore. I just go out and look for dinner. I do that in the lakes up here too. It's great. It's great fun.
I think that's pretty cool that, like, you've always kind of pushed yourself to you and your body to the limits. I mean, you're a marathon guy as well too.
Here's the thing about that. I've never run a marathon. All I've run is ultra marathons. So I would run half marathons as training leading up to an ultra marathon. So if you don't know, an ultra marathon is 50K or more. So those are both at the death race in Grand Cache. So I did a lot of that for about 10 years. That's all I did was run. I'd run 70, 80, 100 kilometers a week. And go out and run. That's what I would do in the summer. Go run ultra marathons. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it was really cool.
And as well, living on the edge too.
Yeah, I when I was a kid, I was wanting a motorbike, and my mom said no, and because she was a nurse and she saw what happened to people on motorbikes. And but when I came, and I was on the road, 10 years, like, you have nothing, you'd make no money, right? You drink it and fucking snort it and smoke it all. So I had nothing, and then I was traveling a lot. So anyway, when I finally came back and got a real job, I worked for Alberta Health Services in addictions and mental health for 10 years. I made great money, and I decided to buy a motorbike. So I bought my first bike. Actually, that was my second bike there. My first bike was a Katana I bought off my buddy Scott Clark. And first time I sat on a sport bike, that was my first real motorbike, right? And I could not believe that it was legal. So then I bought this GSXR, the Suzuki, and it was just so stupid fast. And but I wanted to learn how to handle it, how to corner and be safe and that. So I went and did some courses out at Stratotech, with some Canadian champions that teach you how to ride motorbikes and stuff like that. So did that for a while and got into other kinds of off-road bikes, and then finally just got out of that because it's too damn dangerous, man. And you know what, when you're 22 and you break your leg or you sprain your ankle, you're up and running the next week. But and I'm really healthy, but still, if I hurt myself, it takes a year to, you get a ligament injury, it's a year later, you're still sore. And I just I love running and I love hiking and backpacking, and I didn't want to, end up in a fucking wheelchair. And I know probably 3-4 guys that have been killed on bikes, great riders. It doesn't matter how good you are. It's just someone makes the wrong move and your head comes off. Like, I know a guy, his fucking head came off on 124th Street. Like, his body was in the suit and his head was in the helmet, right? Literally. So I was like, I got to do what I wanted to do with that. And that's kind of what I do. I go and push things to a number I want. Like, when I was a free diver, I wanted to hit 50 meters. I wanted a 50-meter breath hold. That's what I wanted. And I did a 51-meter dive in Egypt. And that was it. And ever since then, I stopped competing and I got into, more relaxing kind of free diving, right? Just hunting. And the motorcycle, same thing. I did what I wanted to do, got some personal achievements with it and saw some cool stuff, had some awesome experiences. And then it's just like, I'm done with that now. It's not fun anymore, right? Yeah, I got about a 5 or 10 year limit on jobs and hobbies and things, but music's kind of stayed with me. Like I didn't play for 10 years, right? I stopped when I was traveling. I went to college. When I was in college, I did a couple of gigs with the 10-inch Men with Rick Shermack and Rob Needham. First time I played with Rob Needham. Mm-hmm. And I was a commercial diver at the time, doing diving in pipes, with all the gear, hard hat, all that, diving in pipes all day for big money and paying for college that way. I would work a couple of weeks in the summer and that would pay for college for the year, right? So they I'd sold all my drums. I wasn't playing. I had no car. Rick calls me, says, hey, you want to do some gigs? Like Carmine's busy or something. I said, yeah, but I don't have a drum kit. I don't have a car, right? I have zero transportation. I'm working sometimes. And there was one day I actually went to, I did 8 hours of commercial diving in Whitecourt and then got a ride up to Slave Lake, I think, and did a gig with the 10-inch Men in Slave Lake. Rick had a Halloween gig or something. I did 3 or 4 gigs with those guys when I was in college. And then after that, I stopped playing. I went traveling and I didn't play for 9 or 10 years until a Tush Fest. Tush Fest, maybe the first Tush Fest casino, right? At the casino.
I do believe so, yeah. That's right. Tush Fest 3.
Was it?
Yeah, I think you came in on the first one with Sentinel on Tush Fest 3.
Oh, no. This was Winterkill the year before that.
Oh, that's right. You're right. You are correct. That's right.
So I hadn't, it was 9 or 10 years. I literally hadn't picked up sticks. Mike Sillis is in town and calls me, says, hey, listen, you should come down and jam. We're having a jam at Bill Birch's, his place where his truck is. We're set up to jam before Kim's going to be there. The guys are going to be there, right?
Oh, that's right.
Fuck, man. I wouldn't normally, for no one else, I would do this. But Mike goes, hey, come on. He's my buddy. I love him and I'll do anything for him. So I said, yeah, sure. I'll show up. Brent's drums were there. So I sit down there and, pound out 4 or 5 tunes. It's like, well, I guess I could still play, because yourself when you're not playing, in your head you're playing, right? So mentally that, you hear a song and as a musician, you can see what's happening and you can envision yourself playing those notes and singing those notes or playing those notes while you're listening to a song. So even though I didn't play for all that time, it was still in my brain, right? So, but I mean, muscle, I was sore as hell, but so I ended up playing, 7 or 8 tunes the next night, went up and did a set. It wasn't my best playing, but fuck, man, it was my second night in 10 years. I had a lot of fun and that kind of got me back into playing again. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I can't believe I'd forgotten that. Well, I mean, I guess I do because that was the one Tush Fest I drank my brains out at. I remember that. Humping Owen's leg upstairs in the hotel room after the show. I just had somebody else to read the numbers. I can't read them. I'm loaded.
We should go back to Rockhead, because when I was part-time before I went to college, that's where I met you. Well, I'd met you before, but that's when I started playing with you. It was in Joe Rockhead, right, with Rolly. And I think Owen was Owen and Jim, or I can't even remember who.
Owen and Jim. Tell you what, let's circle back a little bit here. Yeah. Because, I mean, honestly, your career outside of drumming, it's nice. The drumming's been a constant in your life. But like you said, every 5 years, you've kind of hit a reset button. Yeah. And you've been a counselor, a diving instructor. You've worked in construction. You've done, set this goal and achieved it. Set another goal, achieved it. And it's just, it's very commendable to be doing that. And keeping the thread of the playing drums all through it. But doing all of that obviously it's kept you in great shape. Because here you go, ladies. This is one for the ladies here. Let's just, but you know what? Before I do this, I better get all my little buttons off. Okay. So that way they get maximum sex appeal for this. Look at that. Look at that, ladies.
Look at that hair.
Look at the hair. I mean, you're in great shape. Obviously, you've always been in great shape. I know you work at it real hard and stuff, but yeah, that's now you had mentioned me earlier. This was just kind of after the road. You were like, I'm done with the road.
Yeah.
And wanting to just kind of explore other things in your life.
Yeah, I got married, and our honeymoon was in Antigua in the Caribbean. So that was my first, like, I just learned how to scuba dive, and that was one of the things. Okay, well, let's do something with this. So we went to the Caribbean and went diving, and that was again another really important thing I did was learn how to scuba dive, because I couldn't swim and I was terrified of swimming because I was terrified. My father threw me in the water a couple times when I was 7 or 8, and that just scared the shit out of me, and I never learned how to swim. So I had to learn how to go in the water and breathe underwater and all that, right? It was kind of a so that was the Caribbean. Yeah, we were diving there. That was beautiful. It was my first kind of taste of traveling. And I'll tell you about scuba diving. Scuba diving brought me to international traveling. Like, it gave me a reason to go to places. Like, I've dived caves in Mexico, and and free dived in Egypt and Indonesia, and North Vancouver. Like, the most beautiful experiences, places in the world are due to me learning how to dive initially, right? Scuba diving. So, yeah.
That's cool.
But meanwhile, I met you and Rolly, and I don't know, you remember how that happened, but ended up in Joe Rockhead.
That's yeah. We God, I seem to recall. I know I was in Joe Rockhead. It was me, Jim Elwood, playing drums.
Oh yeah.
And then I went to Vancouver, and that's when I joined up with Party Hog and the guys, Randy Gable and Doug Rasmussen, and that got things going down there. I came back, and I think you were in the band when I came back already, or
yeah.
That's right. You had come back because I know that the guys who had Jeff Bartlett playing bass. And Chris Schroer was in the band for a little while as well there too. So when I returned, it was like, okay, poor Eric. Now I got to be his bass player. But we had some fun gigs. I mean, here's a picture of us playing 1994 at the Shaw Convention Center. We won a Edmonton's favorite band contest by the Bear, and we played the Bear Bash at the Shaw Conference Center, opening up for Kim Mitchell.
Right.
And there we are on stage with we had about 5,000 people in the arena that night. And if you look to the top of the picture, that's a gigantic inflatable ass. They had a 60-foot inflatable bum next to the stage. It was just ridiculous. It was it was just a fun gig, a fun night, and yeah, it was. We had some good gigs. Now, I know I told the story earlier about you doing the drum solo for the night at Nazareth there.
Yeah.
To kind of save Rolly's bacon there because he had broken a string, and I sure as shit wasn't going to talk to the crowd, taking fucking questions for 5 minutes while he changed it. So it was just drum solo. But now you have always done phenomenal drum solos.
Thank you.
Now, and there reached a time when you felt maybe enough is enough.
Yeah.
The drum solos are kind of getting a little dated, and you've done it. I mean, we used to make you do one every Friday and Saturday night at the King's Night Pub when we were playing in Joe Rockhead and stuff too. So anyway, I mean, but for my money, man, nobody does a drum solo like you. That's for sure. I've got a clip here that I think I'm gonna run. Normally, I don't play clips this long. I like to condense it down a little bit, right? I've only played one long clip of a song by Russell Helmet a few shows back, but
right.
this clip is about 3 minutes long because, God damn it, you cannot cut a drum solo short. Now, I recall you saying this was the last drum solo you've played.
Yeah, and it is. And here's why, if you want to know why.
Yeah, oh yeah.
A couple reasons. One is when I was in Sentinel, Mike Polly, our singer, one of the laziest fucking pricks I ever worked with, right? Very unprofessional. We would be playing Wednesday night in freaking the Park Hotel. There's 3 bed shitters in the audience that have been sitting in there since 11 a.m. since it opened, drinking draft. That's it, right? There's nobody there, right? Oh, drum solo. Come on, man.
Oh.
We're like that, right? Just because he didn't, it's 3 minutes, he wouldn't have to sing, and he could go up and get another beer from someone to give him a beer. So I had to do a lot of them that I didn't even want to do, And I think that if you're going to do a solo, it should be when you feel like I'm inspired to try and create something musical and beautiful and sacred, especially through a drum kit. I mean, you don't make notes, you don't make a song with your drums, but you could still convey something, some sort of, emotion, sadness and quietness and anger and aggression, especially in a rock band. But I think you got to be feeling it. And when you're doing them just because you got to do them, it sucks, right?
Yeah.
And then the other thing is that I've played all sorts of instruments, and I have a good ear. I can sing. You'll never hear me sing, but I can sing. I like songs. Like, I'm in a band so that I can be with 3 or 4 or 5 guys that I love deeply to create this beautiful, sonic freaking creation. And if it's just me up there beating my drums, it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Right?
I do know that. I mean, it's with much respect that you can do one, but for my ears, when we're playing certain songs, when we're playing it together in Chrome, you're doing a drum solo in half of a fucking song as it is, a lot of times. So it's just like
hopefully musically and not overplaying and just
that's what I mean. Yeah,
drive this right, because I try to, I've always thought the song comes first, right? That it's got to be about the song. So if I'm going to do some ripping, burning, drum fill or some crazy shit, it's not, shouldn't overpower the, or like Ringo said, never play anything fancy when the guy's singing.
Yeah.
Right. It's got to be musical. So anyway, that's why I stopped doing them. Right.
Does it pain you to hear them now, or to see it? Like, is this?
Yeah, because if you're a guy, I think when you're a driven I'm a very driven person. So if I go on stage, like we got a gig in a month and a half, then I will be practicing like it's a hobby for me. I have a job. Like I'm not a full, we're not playing 6 nights a week like we did where you're always on, right? Now it's a hobby. So we might play 4 or 5, 6 times a year, rehearse once a week. But there's a gig coming. I'll be practicing an hour a day for the next month and a half so that I can show up and be my best, right? Like, I know one of your questions was, what's the best gig you ever did? Well, the last fucking gig I ever did is the best gig I ever did. That's the best gig I ever did, right? And if sometimes that's not the case because you might have had a bad night. Okay, well, it was the gig before that, right?
Yeah.
That's the best gig, right? So even if musically our chops aren't as solid as we were when we were playing for 10 years in a row, 6 nights a week, we have some wisdom that's garnered with years of playing and, how to, again, play a song better rather than just being a big frickin' show off, that kind of thing. So, man, I don't know where I was going with that.
Well, tell you what, this is I know this might be painful for you to watch, but I'm gonna play this for our audience.
Okay.
Here tonight, and I'm going to give everybody the heads up that this is about a 3-minute long segment, or I'm giving you the heads up as well if you want to go for a little bathroom break as well too, kind of thing. Because
everybody else do. That's the thing about drum solos, right? It's like, oh, let's go burn one out back. Fucking idiot drum solo, right?
That's the bass solos. Come on.
The bass solos, God. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. So I'm going to play you a clip of Eric doing his last drum solo from Tush Fest 3 at the Century Casino in Edmonton, which people might remember as MJ's, the Londonderry. Here he is playing with Sentinel, and we're going to run this through right to the end because, like I said, you cannot stop a drum solo halfway through. So we'll let this ride out here. Everybody enjoy this. All right, here we go.
Are you fucking kidding me? Mr. ERIK Young on the drums. The best, baby. The best ever.
Magnificent, brother. I'm telling you.
Thanks, Mike Pauly. Rest in peace, brother.
like literally that. I mean, the showmanship involved in that. You didn't just do, hey, here's this and this and this. You got showmanship. You're doing the hands. You got the stick going. Get the crowd into it. I mean, it was everything you could want in a drum solo is there. And I got to tell you this too. I respect the fact that you went, that's it. I really do, man. It's like, like I said, I was lucky enough to be standing 5 feet away from you most times you did a drum solo in Joe Rockhead. So, but it's really nice. Okay, I hope my mic is loud enough, everybody. Jesus, that's it's stellar. Now, again, just amazing, just fucking amazing. Now, I want to get into a little more recent stuff here.
Okay.
Snake Eyes 7.
Oh yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
Mike, I just want to say one of the things about, watching a drum solo.
Yeah.
Watching your own drum solo, especially me, it's like part of the thing that makes it hard. I mean, besides the fact that I know I could do better, it's the faces, right? It's like the rock faces you make. Record player, right? So, you make these stupid faces. It's like sex faces, right? You don't want to see your own sex face. It's terrible, but I don't want to see that. I don't want to see my face. I don't want to see what I look like, my face, stupid faces when I'm playing a drum solo. So that's hard. That's why I don't really like to watch them. But thank you, man. I appreciate the compliment. So yeah, Snake Eyes 7. Yeah.
I know a lot. I know a lot of the audience out there appreciates a good drum solo still in that. But I get you. I totally respect your reasons for not wanting to go there again. But it's great that again, if that's your last one, it's great that it's on film and it's been captured and can be just. Here you go. You want a drum solo? It's online. Go look it up. Kind of thing. But now in the last couple of years, you've moved on to work with a recording act here called Snake Eyes 7, with Danny Dean on lead vocals, Mike Sillis on guitar with Cam McLeod, and not sure who the other guy is. Sorry,
Cole
Stevens.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
Cole's
Now-
band, basically, right?
So now you worked on the album Medicine Man. Great album cover.
Yeah, killer album cover.
Like really good stuff. And I want to play a track from this album here, Snake Eye 7. We're going to play a little bit of, well, here it is. Here's the song Medicine Man with ERIK Young on the drums. Check this out, everybody.
Rise up your healing heartbeat, restored with just a touch of his hand. Behold, he's a medicine. Tonight there's a fever rising, infection spreading all across the land. It's slowly synthesizing, fills its host with its evil plan. Souls cry out for mercy, big with demons from the wicked sands. Call your demon and your spirit shaman. All your evils will be healed by your medicine man. He's a medicine man.
Cool stuff, man. Once again, really cool stuff. Now, I know Snake Eye 7 had an album out. You joined for this last album just a couple of years ago, correct?
Yeah, they had Cole. This is Cole's band, and he had done a couple albums before this, and they were doing this album. They were in the studio, and it wasn't working out with their guy, and they got, Cam had asked Mike to come play on it, and then their drummer wasn't working out for whatever reason. So, Mike gave me the in, right? So if Mike Silas asked me to play with him in anything, I will. So I said yes, no matter what, right? And I know Cole from years and years ago, back in the day, back in the 80s. Won't get into that too much, but known him for a long time, right? He asked me to play with him back in the 80s, but I was pretty loyal to my band that I was in, which at the time. And so I said, yeah, Mike, I'm in. Like, I hadn't heard any of the songs or anything. Didn't matter. Yeah, play with Mike Silas on an album. Yeah, fucking rights, man. It's an honor. So then Cole sends me these demos, and I'm like, oh my God, man, these are fantastic songs.
Yeah.
Like, this guy, Cole's a strange guy because he's not a great guitar player, but man, and he doesn't write like anybody because he doesn't really listen to anything. Like, he writes these licks that are, like there's a song on the album that's in 5/8, right? Or 10/6, whatever, right? It's in 5/8 just because that's the way he wrote it. He doesn't know it's in 5/8, right? Instead of 4/4. So it's a prog. So I say, yeah, I'm a prog drummer now because I did a song in 5/8, right? Finally get to be a prog drummer. Anyway, he sent these songs, and I'm listening to these songs, and I went, this guy like wrote these songs for me to play. I called him. I said, yeah, you wrote these songs for me, man. Like, that I should be playing. I'm the guy that needs to play these songs. Like, I will play this fucking shit better than anybody. I promise you. Big, heavy stuff, fairly simple. Couple of opportunities to burn, burn around the kit and double bass drum stuff, but mostly big, heavy groove stuff, right?
Yeah.
Peanut Beetle. It's Peanut Beetle.
Peanut Beetle. How you doing, Peanut? Nice
Beetle.
to see you.
Ah, what a good little beetle.
Dave was crouching around here a little earlier, but he's causing trouble probably. You know what? I'm going to play another track from this album, another video that you guys shot. Now, I mean, a couple of really well done videos as well, too, for the band.
Danny, the singer, did all the video. Danny is an extremely talented guy. If you ever get a chance to see Danny Dean in his Aerosmith cover band,
oh yeah,
Aerosmith Rocks, it will blow your fucking mind. I went to see him. I could not believe it. He is so talented, and he's a great writer. Like, he wrote all the lyrics for these tunes and the melody, really talented guy. So, and yeah, his production, his video and sound production is fantastic. So, yeah.
Phenomenal job on the videos, but he nails Steven Tyler and his Aerosmith tribute band. I mean, most tribute bands are a tribute to the music, and don't carry the look or that. But damn it, you look at Danny doing his Aerosmith stuff, and half the time you're looking, is that Steven Tyler or not? You know, he's got the look down as well as the sound. Great singer. You know,
the whole show so professional, just like seeing a big concert, right? Yeah,
and the album as well too, Medicine Man. You guys got to pick this up online out there, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you pick it up. Snake Eyes 7, Medicine Man. Here's another shot of the album cover. I'm going to play another song for you. This one, I should have written it down.
Can you hear
it? Can you hear it, Coleman? Can't you hear me? Can you hear me, Colin? God, I'll get it right eventually. This is a great track. And this features pretty much the middle of the song where you were talking about being able to burn a little bit more in the drums there for you. So this is a great track, ladies and gentlemen.
Across this great divide, can you feel it? I feel like no one can hear me. I think I'm losing my mind. Now listen, I'm calling from the other side. Oh, won't you give me a sign? I'm calling from the other side. I wish you were here by my side. I'll get this message on down the line, down the line. It's just a matter of time. Yes, I'm on my way back to you again. When I'm stepping over the line, but it wasn't at the right time. I couldn't go all the way, yeah. I could feel love, love, love pull me down, but it wasn't at the right time. I couldn't go all the way, yeah. I could feel love, love, love pull me down, but I was on my way. And the pain in your eyes, still crying tonight. Will I see you again? I'm coming.
Great fucking song. I mean,
Great song. I tell you that whole album. I mean, I played on it, but I don't care. That's the fucking great album. I'm really proud of everything, because when the song is good and you feel it, then it's easy to play it well, right? You know. And Cam did all the production on that album, and did a phenomenal job.
I'll say.
The sound is phenomenal. Unfortunately, the band, it's come apart. Cole had a really bad personal tragedy. He was in a terrible accident, and just kind of came apart after that. But a great opportunity to play with great guys, great players, learn a lot, and had some great experiences. What life's all about to me is just
that's killer. And literally to have played on a kick-ass rock album like that, like. Honestly, like my earlier days, if I'd heard that, it would have been, guys, we had to learn this song. It's just like that, something I would have wanted to have covered in a band I was in for sure. And I don't say that about a lot of original stuff I hear, but great album, man. I mean, really good stuff.
I've been in other original projects like those Rockhead and Guardian and a few other things I've done, and I'm not really that moved by most of it. It's like, okay, I'm the drummer and this is what I'm doing for this song, but I don't feel it in my balls, or my heart. I want to feel it in every chakra. I want to feel that song's got to resonate through my whole being. And that album does. Like it's got a lot of dynamics and emotions and powerful songs. Cole's a gifted guy, with the ideas he came up with for that album. And just a combination of everybody, a lot of good direction. Obviously from Cam, and made it a great album. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the two bridges in that last song. I mean, from the first one into the second one there, where it changes, and then into the solo. It's just I really enjoy that. Now, while that video was playing, there was a couple of comments that popped up. People are wanting to know a little bit more, and they're asking about that really cool drum kit. Oh Jesus! And look at this. I'm showing the wrong kit.
Oh, the Drafted DW kit. That's a great kit. I still have that kit, but you're probably thinking of the Vista.
That's exactly what I'm thinking of. The Vistas. Damn it!
With the rototoms.
I thought, for Christ's sake, that was the picture of the Vistas, and it's not. There we go. Oh, that's Sparkle-less as well too.
Yeah, those are Ludwig Sparkle drums. Those aren't mine. Video. You're the one, the Chrome, the kit I have now with Chrome. The band you're in with me. Remember that band? Yeah.
Chrome. Oh.
Those drums are set up in my garage.
Now you got the Vista Light Ludwigs.
Yeah.
Amber color.
Yeah.
Basically, it's very similar to Bonzo's.
Well, here's the thing: is I've always liked big bass drums, and they went out of vogue a long time ago because they don't have the punch. Like if you get a 20-inch bass drum that's 18 inches deep, it sounds like fucking Thor's hammer, right? It through a mic. But they look stupid to me. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, I like big bass drums. So these are two 26-inch by 14-inch Vista Light bass drums, like Bonham used and Cozy Powell used. Cozy Powell used Ludwigs and then Yamahas for a long time, 26-inch kick drums. They're a lot harder to make them sound good. And no matter what you do, they have a certain sound that's very unique. And the things, I'm a tall guy. And I sit low, and I like the drums to be big around me. I don't like to sit up over top of my drums looking like I'm doing dishes. You know what? The thing is, like, when I was a kid, okay, so this is going to go into a bit of a rant about, music and clubs now. But
bring it.
When I was a kid, obviously there was, I'm not going to, there was no internet and all that. No, there wasn't. We had an album cover. And if you were lucky, you got the newer one that had the sleeve in it with some live shots of the band or the guys, a guy playing his kit or the guy on, Richie Blackmore's guitar or whatever it was, right? And then so you would sit with your stupid headphones on, your shitty fucking 50-watt stereo back in 1974, listening to Desolation Boulevard by Sweet, one of the greatest albums and one of the greatest drummers of all time. Looking at a couple of pictures, imagining what these guys are doing, right? And then you would finally get to go see that band. You would go to a concert, pay $750 to see Alice Cooper when you're 14, and there's this giant stage, a giant light show, a fucking 8-foot drum riser, a huge drum kit, and then the Messiah would walk out on stage, right? Whether it was Alice, these guys were 10 feet tall, and you're a little kid going, yeah. Like you have an emotional, religious, spiritual experience, which is what it should be, right? Guys come out and they play all the time. They're pro, and that was and same with that. I see Rainbow. It's a big stage and lights and a big drum kit and cymbals and guys, huge amps, right? Marshall stacks, all that stuff, right? That's what I dig, man. I when I go to see a band, that's what I want to see, right? So you get a lot of this now. I mean, COVID's fucked things up a bit, but before COVID, you get club owners going, all you musicians should come out and support our club because we get people to, you know what? If I'm going to go to a club and there's 4 guys staring at a fucking iPad that's 4 feet off the ground attached to their mic stand, I'm not going. It's not entertaining to me. It's karaoke.
Yeah.
I want to see guys that know what they're doing, that they're pros, and give me something to listen. Like if you're going to stand there, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. You better be damn good. Like, you better entertain me sonically, right? If I can go and see a big show, big light show, and smoke, like if you're a rock band, like there was a band came through a few years back, Scorpions tribute band, right? Scorpions tribute band, $20. I pay $20 to go see this Scorpions tribute band. A lot of hype about this band. I go in there, the guy's playing. There's no drum riser, there's no light show. The guy's playing the piece of shit house kit, like it's a an entry-level garbage drum kit. There's no freaking light show. There's no fog. Nobody looks like the guy in the band. It could have been the same other guy. And there's probably some iPads on stage too, right? That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Give me something to show up for, right? So when I play and when we play, because we're in a band together, we have an idea of what we want to present, right? We're not going to go play in some scabby little place owned by some restaurant owner over by the salad bar. Hey, can you set up by the buffet? No, man. See you later.
Yeah.
You know, Johnny iPad and and the three karaoke brothers to play in front of the bar. We're not playing there. So like our band now, Chrome, we have a big show. We rent halls. We put on a show so that you come, and it's kind of like, I mean, I've had professional musicians come up to me with tears in their eyes after they saw us, saying, man, this brought me back to when I was a kid. This brought me back to when it was the 80s, like when you would go to see a band and was like, oh my God, like blown away by, guys that put all the time in and take it seriously because it's fucking sacred, man. Like if you think just going up and wanking out some tunes, that's fine for you, right? But not me and not the guys I play with, right? And I've worked, since I started playing again, I've worked hard to eliminate anyone that is not one of those guys, right? We all have. We have this core of guys who are 100% in. We're devoted to the music. We're devoted to having a bar set where if people come to see us, it's not going to be set up in the corner by the salad bar when the hockey game's on and fucking 9 video screens in the bar. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, and every TV in the fucking bar onto the golf channel, every sports channel, and it's like, show some respect. We're playing here. Like, come on, turn that shit off, right?
Sacred. So, if you're just, and I get it, like it's a business. They want to sell booze. Fine, that's great. You do that, and you can have Johnny iPad and the three karaoke brothers playing your club. They're gonna play for fuck all for a start, which is fine because a lot, we don't play for money. We all have jobs. We do our hall thing and we actually make a little bit of money. So nice to go home with a few bucks, but that's not the point. We do it at this level, even if we made nothing or lost money, which has happened lots and lots because we would rather present something that's powerful, emotional, and gives people something to go, man, oh man, those guys, holy smokes, like. They did that Boston tune, or they did that Pink Floyd tune, or they did that Whitesnake tune. And man, oh man, like I was moved on all 7 chakras, right? Like powerful experience.
You know what? Only one thing to say, and that is, absolutely, I agree 100%. And yeah. And you could not have segued this any better. You could not have set me up more perfectly. I'm going to play a clip of us playing together in our band Chrome at the Saxony, which is now the Howard Johnson. We rented a large hall, and I remember playing in that room when I was back in 1985, 86, but it was nice to go in there with production, a decent PA, an insane light show, and musicianship, well rehearsed, great guys. I am blessed to be in this band. I'm proud to be the front man, lead singer of it. We're going to play something from that show here. This is a little bit of an example of the Vista Light Ludwigs in action with the Rototoms on front. Just slamming away here, and Mr. Rob Needham shredding on lead guitar. This is a little bit of Crying in the Rain from Whitesnake. Chrome playing at the Saxony, the Howard Johnson. Here we go. Check this out, boys and girls. This one's going to leave a stain on the mattress. Here we go. fucking sweet, man. Just, I mean, those drums. Obviously, that's not a direct feed to the camera. That's just a camera mic picking that up. So it just anybody who wants to, that's it's just all drums, man. They're so fucking loud. It's great though. I love it. I really do.
I tell you what, while we just had Rob there, man, I can't even say enough about Rob Needham. Like, what a guy! Like, not only like probably the best guitar player I ever played with, but just a super good guy and extremely devoted to precision and setting the bar. Right, he always was. Back in Canada, when he was with Jason and Mike Sillis doing the Van Halen show, fuck, man, they were killer. They were a killer bar. Back in the day when you could go to 8 bars in Edmonton or Calgary or Red Deer and see, 4 really good bands, right? And maybe one killer band, like you could see Kick Axe or White Wolf or Canon Annie or whoever, right? There was a lot of good bands back in the day. Rob was one of those guys that's just always had a guitar in his hand. Always. The guy has to play, and it shows. Like, we'll come off and I'll go, Jesus, Rob, what a killer night you had. And he's like, oh man, I don't know, buddy.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about? Like, I'm just bowing in front of the guy.
Yeah, what I've always enjoyed, what I've enjoyed working with him has been like when we've had meetings or something like that, something comes up, then there's Rob's angle.
Yeah.
It's like he'll say, well, and then he'll go somewhere with it, and it's like, God damn, this guy's on another level, man. I hadn't even thought about that. I hadn't even considered that. I mean, as far as the music executive goes, he's got the brain, he's got the smarts, and he knows how to keep everybody glued together in check, kind of thing. Rob's, can't say enough about you.
He will speak the alternative if it needs to be said, And that's the thing about this band is that everybody gets their say, and we all respect and love each other, and that's what's important, man. Because I don't need to play, That's a thing. Like, some people need to play. A guy like Rob, he has to play, as far as I'm considered. I think you need to play. Yeah, I don't need to play. I need experiences with people I love. So whether that's running ultramarathons or working on a boat or being a addictions counselor, it doesn't. It's got to be. It's about relationship to me, because that's what the universe is about. It's about relationships between everything down at a subatomic level, right? So, not to say that I don't love playing, because I fucking love playing, and I love playing with you guys. That's the thing, right?
It's been a real exceptional treat. Like I said, I've told this a few times to some friends. When you first called me and offered me the job, the cocky side of me was like, well, it's about time you called, But the reality is when I hung up the phone, I went and ran and I jumped up and down in the bed for like 20 fucking minutes. Yes. I couldn't have been happier. So, I mean, it's been a real treat. And, this is a good way to kind of wrap it all into where the next segment here. But before we get to that next segment, there's one other thing that people don't know about you. You were also in the movie 300, weren't you?
Yes, I am Xerxes, the Persian god king.
Obviously, folks, I know that's photoshopped, but when I first saw that, buddy, I thought to myself, man, of all the friends that could pull that off, you're the only guy I know that could actually do that.
The thing is, I had nothing to do with it. What that picture is when I was riding sport bikes, I was hanging around with all these sport bike idiots that we were. And this was at the Timmy Hortons on White Ave. And I'm sitting on my sport bike, and there's a girl sitting behind me, and she's feeding me chili with a spoon, the Tim Hortons chili. So I'm turning around making this stupid face to eat this chili. And then this other guy, Dave, Photoshop guy, puts this all together and puts it up on the internet back then. That's pretty funny, man. That's funny.
That's a classic picture, buddy. I'm telling you. So, okay, we've gone through the career. We've skipped a few things here and there, but I think we've got a lot of it covered. Yeah. You've had an exceptional life outside of drumming as well. That's to be respected. What's the word I'm looking for? You know what I'm looking for. It's just it's you've lived much more of a life than most people do, and that's very commendable, my friend. But for sure, being able to like I've been stuck basically in one career for my entire life, and you, much respect to be able to kind of just shift gears and focus and stick with it and go with something, and then okay, I'm done. It's not like this isn't good. It's just like I'm done. I'm gonna go do something else now, and that's stellar, brother. So that leads me to the next part of the show here, and this is where we pop this little button out here, and I have to hit this guy now. This is the first of the 3 main questions we get at. Erik Young, what's the best gig? I know you've kind of half answered this, but I'm gonna push you on this. What's the best gig you've ever played?
Well, I was serious about the last gig we played, which is we did a gig in February, which was killer. But if I try to think of, a lot of other things like audience and status and ego and all that, probably. I mean, I opened for lots of good bands. I opened for Kim Simmons from, Kim Simmons and Gatto and Santers and lots of great bands that I love. I wish I would have been able to open for Frank Marino, but because I love Frank Marino. But Nazareth, those 3 gigs with Nazareth was kind of Joe Rockhead at its peak. I think that's the best we ever played. I think, despite Romy being so cheap as to not even have a fucking spare guitar cord or a guitar, cheap bastard. But other than that, those were good gigs, and first personally, for a bunch of Scotsmen, to say that they've been around the world and, that they finally, the best drummer they ever saw was actually a guy from Scotland, which is me, which was a hell of a compliment, and I'm not. There's a million guys, especially now. There's people, everybody's so good now because of the internet. Everybody's really good. But those 3 gigs were pretty killer, man. We had a good time playing open with Nazareth. We got treated well. We sounded good. We were on top of our game. That was good stuff. Yeah, for sure.
They really, really liked you a lot. And
nice.
I think it was only Daryl Sweet, the Nazareth drummer. I think he died just a few weeks after we did that show with them.
Yeah, he did.
And I recall when we found that out, it was like, Jesus, we might lose Erik. Hey, what is that fucking drummer? That guy in Edmonton. Hey, but yeah, again, there wasn't much in the way of the internet back then, and so it was easy to get a hold of you, kind of thing. So, but you could have just stepped right into that role.
Love Nazareth. I mean, that's our teenage stuff, man, right? And we do a bunch of Nazareth in our band now because it's great stuff.
That's right. Yeah. Mazamataza tonight.
Yes.
Jism it is. Giving away our secret song titles here. Sorry. All right. Now, Erik Young, you got to go flip the pancake and see the dark side of this. What's the worst gig you've ever played, my friend?
Jesus, there's so many, right? Especially when you're on the road. Back in those days, you're playing. Bumfuck Manitoba. I mean, you just got to work, right? Oh, band's got to work. I guess you're going to Flin Flon. What? 16 hours. You go up there and, you do what you got to do. But I would say probably there's a bit of a story here, if that's okay. It's It's a terrifying story. It's Fort St. John. I played Fort St. John in we're still called Ricochet or Guardian. Maybe, I can't remember. Anyway, we went up to play Fort St. John. We got sent up there, and we show up to the bar, and we get in there, and the stage has got wagon wheels in front of the stage, right? It's a fucking stage. It's like right out of a Blues Brothers, right? So what the hell's going on? So, we meet the owner, and the owner is like this, literally a 500-pound psycho. 500 pounds, like the guy's a psycho, which he proved to be. We thought he was a psycho, and he proved to be a psycho. So up until the day before, that was a country bar in Fort St. John. So our agent neglected to tell us that you'll be the first rock band going into this country bar because the guy wants to go to rock. So meanwhile, the week before that, I dyed my hair blonde. You know, the shit you did back then, right?
Yeah.
Again, full retard. Like, I'm going to dye my hair blonde. I got black hair. Okay, I'll do that. So I got this big, freaking stupid blonde toothpick freaking hair, right? And we're all decked out in everything but the fucking kitchen sink, the leather and the, Bob Moody used to walk out of the stage. And I go, here, Bob, wear this, and hand him the lamp, right? Because he had all the stuff on, all his gear. So, the first night we played, like that, it's full of cowboys, which I love a lot of country music. I have nothing against I love the bush. I love animals. Anyway, but at the time, I'm, 21 or 22, and we're this rock band, playing Scorpions or Motley Crue or whatever. And there's all these, it's a sea of cowboy hats there, and they're literally throwing shit at us, right? And it turned into a nightmare. So on a Friday night, we're staying in this band house. The guy puts us in this band house. And so I was so freaked out. I actually went that day. I went to the drugstore and bought black hair dye and re-dyed my hair black just so I looked like a little more normal, right? That's how freaked out I was. So we played this gig, and these guys are harassing us all week. And it was a really bad scene, man. It was a bad scene. So we're staying in this band house, and then all these assholes, like the local 3 assholes and their dad, storm into our band house, and we're having a party, beat the shit out of us, steal all our booze. The dad pisses on the floor. Like these are adults, right? So
holy
shit. It was a fucking nightmare. It wrecked the band house. So the next day, we tell the psycho owner, listen, these guys broke in and wrecked, crashed. So he shows up, loses it on us, starts smashing walls himself with a cup, saying that we did this. And we're like, fuck, I'm like, pack that shit. Let's get the fuck out of here. I said, we're leaving. We don't want our money. We're going. Fuck you and your club. You're a retard, right? So then, oh, no, sorry, guys. No, I'll make it up to you. And, we'll come over to my house for dinner tomorrow. Finish up the week, and I'll make you a big dinner tomorrow night. So we go to this guy's place. He's got an acreage. We go to his place. He makes us this huge dinner. So we're all sitting down eating dinner. And he goes, check this out. And he opens his freezer, pulls out a bag, and he pulls out a 9mm gun, right? A 9mm gun. So we think, we're done. Like, we're all going to get blown away by this.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then, one of the guys that were light man, Kelsey, that got punched pretty bad, when we said we have to go to the cops. So we reported them, and they knew who these assholes were, the local assholes, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure they're living the karma they deserve now. So it's all fine. And so press charges against me. Anyway, that was the end of that. And I heard later that guy moved to Lloydminster. I think he ran the Capri in Lloydminster. His name was Colin. He's a big fat freaking lunatic.
Oh my God, that's Mike Sillis is tuned in, and yeah, he wrote down Colin. Yeah. And when I thought, is this the same Colin from Lloydminster, that Hassan Pfeffer motherfucking piece of shit? Where's my Hassan Pfeffer?
And I think Mike
has little dog, right?
Mike's got some story about someone beating that guy with a tire iron, and I think he died. Luckily for all of us, that he died. So. That was the worst gig I ever did, was Fort St. John. Yeah, and I think a couple weeks later, actually, Mike Sillis was in Cananani and went into that room and was, I think he was dating my girlfriend at the time. Yeah, unbeknownst to me. Thanks, Mike. Dating, that's what we called it in the day. Dating.
Dating, that's, yeah. Will you go around with me?
Dated her for 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's before I knew Mike.
Oh my God, that's just so funny that call it like one of my worst gigs I've ever played is a story with Colin too. At the Capri in Lloydminster, man. What a dickhead! Yeah, fuck you. He's gone.
You and I have a lot of interesting connections, by the way, don't we? Over the years.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So.
A clean show here.
Yeah, I know. We could be okay. So that's the worst one. Now, this is the fun one. ERIK Young, what's the craziest road story you got?
Well, there's probably about 50 that I can't tell.
Yeah.
Craziest road story, man. You know what? It was just. I mean, again, 17 till 28, full idiot, booze, women, cocaine, working 3-4 hours a night, partying. There was way too much there. I'm trying to think. God, the craziest road story.
Craziest, biggest, scariest, any adjective you want.
The scariest was the bus accidents, right?
Yeah.
Which still affect me to this day. Yeah, I don't know about craziest, but I'll tell you what. When I joined, they're funny stories. It's maybe not the craziest, but just boys being boys, right? We were. I was in a band with Rick Shermack, this band Mantis, and Rick loved to play pranks, man. Rick loved the pranks, buddy. So, we were, we'd like putting hemorrhoid cream in your toothpaste, that kind of thing. Short sheeting your bed. You're drunk. It's 4:00 in the morning. You go to bed. Someone short sheets your bed. You ever had that happen? You ever had your bed short sheeted?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That anyway. So we've done some pranks, and anyway, I woke up one morning, and Rick had gone to the front desk and said, "Yeah, I lost my room key for room 254, which is my room. I'm sleeping." He comes in my room, and I wake up. He's spreading peanut butter on the bottom of my feet.
What?
Yeah. So, you're screwed. Like, what do you do? Like, I got peanut butter on my feet. How am I going to get anywhere, right?
Oh my God.
That was one thing. I'll tell you another stupid thing. It's too crazy, but Derek Segerson, when we were in Guardian, just probably the funniest guy I've ever met in my life. Derek Segerson. If anyone knows who Derek Segerson is, he still does a singles act, I think. Extremely talented. Yeah. Phenomenal guitar player that played with his whole body. Like, you just never saw a guy play like this, and very effeminate looking, but the way he moved, but guys loved him because he was just so honest the way he played and moved, and he was a phenomenal guitar player. Anyway, we laughed a lot. And then I got on this thing where 1 week, I think we were playing Medicine Hat or Left, but anyway, where every day I went and bought one of those big Bag O Army Men, right?
Oh, yeah.
Bag O Army Men. It says that, the apostrophe Army Men. There's like 100 Army Men in there. Like the guy with the field glasses, there's a sniper, there's, there's this guy, there's guy throwing a grenade, all these guys, right? Little guys like this big, right? That big. And so every day I would do something with these Army Men to piss him off. So, he would open his guitar case and there'd be an Army Man staring up at him from his guitar. And then I actually put one in his shampoo, like open his shampoo, with the screw off lid, and put an Army Man in there. So I hear him in the shower, like, it's like, shh, for about 2 minutes. Young! Because I know he poured it. Fucking Army Man comes out because it's had about 10 incidents already. And then I set up about 50 of them all around his bed one night, all pointing at him. So he woke up and there's all these Army Men pointing at him. And then the last straw was we used to open with Can't Live Without You by the Scorpions, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? And then he'd come up for the backup, Can't Live Without, right? So I had an Army Man point on his mic, pointing right at him, like pointing a gun right at him. So he goes up to the mic to sing, and he sees this Army Man, and he just loses it, starts laughing. Yeah.
Oh, fuck, bazooka guy.
This is the level of stories I can tell. There's so many I can't tell. I refuse to, don't want to incriminate anyone. But, at good times. It was crazy. The whole thing was crazy. It was. I mean, you had get 5 or 6 guys that are 18 to 25. Put them together and in a bar where they're allowed to drink while they work.
Yeah.
What do you get? It's band camp with booze and strippers.
Yeah. Well, just one big blur because it's like 6 nights a week of just blurriness.
Yeah.
Drive on Sunday and, get to the next hotel. Hey, can we sign? Can we sign for our meals? Because I got no fucking money.
Yeah.
I just need to be able to sign for my meals. That's what I need. So, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I remember doing God, you were up partying in the hotel room. I did the Aussie show at the Rex one time, and I remember you were up there. Rick Schmook was up there. A few other guys were up there. It was just like, man, I had like 6 drummers in my room there that night, kind of thing. I'm looking around going, Jesus. Like, and then, yeah. Anyway, yeah, the good times back then, man. Obviously, That's killer. Wow. So you know what? You've been a phenomenal guest, my friend, tonight. We're at 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Oh, not bad.
That's not bad. Keith still holds the record for 3 hours and 15 minutes, but I think we're probably gonna wrap it up with right around here. And I just want to say thanks again for coming on the show here tonight. It's really it's a treat to know you. It's a treat to have you as my friend. It's a treat to play in the band with you. The love and respect I've got for you is off the charts. And I just, it's a real pleasure to know you and to work with you, and have worked in the past, and to be working with you again. I can't say enough, man. I really, I truly love you like a brother, and just a great guy, man.
Right back at you. Yeah. We're very lucky, and I'm very grateful for my life and the people that are in my life at the moment. Yeah.
It's good. We got a good thing going. I think, what's the plan? November 15th, I think we're working on.
14th, 15th?
14th, 15th.
Something like that.
Something like that. Probably the 14th.
Yeah, going to be a good show. Lots of new songs. Almost a whole new set.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm just pulling it up here real quick. I just want to make sure that I get that right date out. Yeah, November 14th, boys and girls.
Yeah, we've maintained a practice schedule for through all this bullshit, we've kept practicing. So
yeah, that's been fun. We're getting together for once a week and still making some music and stuff, and learning some new tunes. Yeah, we got pretty much a whole new set ready for everybody on the 15th. It's going to be a fun show.
Can't wait.
We'll give you some more details and stuff soon on the next Chrome Old School Hall Party, but it's coming up very shortly. So ERIK Young, my friend, thank you so very much for being my guest on the show here tonight.
Namaste. Thank you.
You are truly an exceptional human being, musician, and I love you, man. I really can't say enough. And I'm probably going to hug you when I see you on Friday.
For sure, yeah.
Or no, wait, Wednesday, I mean.
Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to get together on Wednesday. That's cool.
Okay.
It's been a real treat to have you on the show here tonight. Thanks once again to my guest, ERIK Young, for being here, and drummer, Renaissance man. Go check out Snake Eyes 7 and get the album Medicine Man. You're going to really enjoy it. And as well, we'll see you on November the 14th, Chrome. All right.
Okay.
Thanks again, buddy. You take care, and see you on Wednesday night.
Will do. Cheers.
Love you, bud.
Love you too.
There we go. How about that? Now, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I love this guy. I love these guys. I love that they come on the show. I love that they have a chance to talk with me. I love that they take the time to do this. So once again, thank you very much for tuning in here tonight to the Party Hog Road Story Show. And I got a little maintenance to do here. Partyhog.com for more road story shows and more. As well, I'm on YouTube, and I should have been on YouTube tonight, but again, I'm having some issues with the new version of software, iOS update. Steve Jobs, will you please come back to earth and save us all? Because the fucks that are running your Apple company right now can suck a dick. Yeah, I said it. Piss me off. Party Hog, the Party Hog on YouTube. Instagram at Party Hog, and on Facebook as well here tonight. Facebook at Party Hog, where you got to watch the show. I'm going to have this show on YouTube probably in about an hour and a half here. And don't forget, I'd also like to thank my sponsor for the evening, Just Be Store, the Just Be Store. Maggie makes custom handmade jewelry, rings, and more. And she's also a very gracious host to have us buffoons come on over to her house with ERIK and put up with us and our shenanigans and our drinking and our farts and all that kind of stuff. So big love to Maggie. Check out her amazing handmade, custom-made jewelry. She's a silversmith, and she does a phenomenal job making stuff. You want something special, unique, one of a kind, please go check her out. Just Be Store. She's on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thanks, Maggie. Thank you very much. It seems I've run out of time here, and I'm wrapping up the show. Again, thank you for tuning in tonight. Next week, who have I got next week? Tony. Hey, I got Tony from Dirty Deeds. The one, the only. Tony's going to be here, the lead singer from Dirty Deeds, best AC/DC tribute in Western Canada that's been around for many years. Got a lot to talk about with him. Boy, we go back a long way. A couple of guys screaming out AC/DC, but he's done the right job with it, and he's a good dude. I'm looking forward to him being my guest next Monday night. Then I got to take a week off because I'm going to BC to see my mom. And I can't wait. I miss my mom. I love her a lot. I miss her. So I'm going to take a week off so I can go visit my mom. And it's Thanksgiving weekend anyway. So you people will all be busy with your family and loved ones, I hope, as well, too. So thanks once again, ERIK Young. Thank you to Maggie. And next week's guest, Tony from Dirty Deeds. So let me say this. I screwed it up again. I still got no friggin' audio on that dick thing. God damn it. Anyway, I'll get this shit fixed for next week, folks. Been rehearsing a lot, doing other things with my life. So anyway, thank you very much. Peace and love to all of you. Thanks again for supporting the show, folks. Tuning into the Road Story Show tonight. My name is Mike Braniff. I am the Party Hog. It's been a pleasure to be with you tonight. Once again, I heard Tampa Bay won the Stanley Cup, so I even missed that. They paraded the Stanley Cup around on Edmonton Ice tonight. Hasn't happened for a while. But again, thank you for tuning in. I am the Party Hog, partyhog.com. Go check that stuff out. And we will see you guys. Tony Allenbrand. I knew that. I knew his last name. I just, I'm sorry. Kim, she's in Kelowna. She says, "It's just Allenbrand." I know it's Tony Allenbrand. I'm very sorry. I was saving that for the promo and all that, So, and some guys are a little fishy, but I want my real name used, like this guy here. Anyway, we love you. Thanks again for tuning in tonight. I am the Party Hog, and we'll say goodnight with this. Peace and love. Tune in next Monday. See you later. Bye-bye, guys.